Hey, in the immortal words of Judy Brown, happiness is a choice. And we're happy you're spending some time with us, Chip and Zay, right here on a wild and woolly Wednesday. Loaded show for you today. We love that. We'll have John Brown, two-time Mr. Universe, father to three five-star wide receiver sons, Equanimous, Osiris, and Amon-Ra St. Brown. Of course, Amon-Ra. 3 touchdowns for the Detroit Lions in the win, 52-21 win over the Chicago Bears last week. A much better result than week 1 when the Lions were punished in Green Bay by the Packers. Zay, how you doing, my man?
What up, dog? What's up, everybody? Happy Wednesday, everybody. Feeling good, feeling great. Chip, how are you?
Oh man, excitement on a Wednesday. We will also have former Texas tennis coach Michael Center on the show about 3:00. He has written a book called Breaking Serve: From Championship Coach to Prison and the Journey Back. Michael Center was part of that Varsity Blues admissions. The U.S. government went after, people who were, getting kids into school. I don't think, not illegally, but using their influence, their money to get their kids into school when maybe they wouldn't get admitted otherwise.
They got my girl Aunt Becky.
Yeah. And Michael Center will tell you that his story is very different from their story, because what he did was a favor for the Texas basketball program. Everybody knew what was going on, but yet when the U.S. government decided to, investigate, and they had an informant named Rick Singer, threw Michael Center into this mix, and Texas basically said, "Oh, well, we don't know him," and his team ended up winning the national championship just months after he was indicted. So, but the book is an uplifting book about a guy who got caught in the wrong place at the wrong time, and who had to, figure it out. There he was in prison, and, his team's winning the national championship. So should be a good interview. It's a great read, I will say. And like I said, it's, it's how you overcome adversity. It's if you think you've got it rough, you got to dig deep and figure it out. So we'll talk to Michael Center at 3:00 on the show today.
So what does the basketball team have to do with it? Because I got to read the book. I'm going to have to borrow that thing from you soon, because I'm very intrigued. When you sent me that this morning, I've been doing as much research as I can. But as far as the basketball team goes, like you said, talk about that a little bit.
So at the time, there was a kid named Michael Chape, whose father is a successful, entrepreneur, who wanted to be the manager for the basketball program and probably needed help to get in. And so Michael Center said, okay, I'll put him down for a books scholarship, which is like a $400 scholarship. And then he'll, the promise was that Chape's father would donate money to basketball, to the university, and at the time to help build a tennis facility that had gotten taken down because of the Dell Medical Center. And so Texas officials were aware that they were going to be getting sizable contributions. It was Rick Barnes' staff who, had the connections with the Chiappe family and said, "Hey, can you help get this kid admitted?" Center said, "Yeah. Um, as long as everybody knows what we're doing." The university had to sign off on the letter of intent. They do a very thorough, scouring of each athlete that's coming in to make sure that they're actually student athletes. And so, when this guy, Rick Singer, who gets caught up in this federal investigation, just started rolling on people, he put Center down as a guy who helped get Michael Chiappe into the University of Texas. But unlike some of these other schools where, people were taking a big payout, like administrators at USC were getting big money personally to help get kids into school without anybody really knowing what was going on. This was a $400 book scholarship for a kid who, was going to relinquish the scholarship as soon as he got in and then become a paid basketball manager. And in exchange, basketball was going to get some money, the university was going to get some money, and the tennis facility was going to get some money at a time where Steve Patterson was saying, he told Michael Center, if you don't raise the money, there's going to be no tennis facility. And it was a chaotic time. And Center got hung out to dry. I did a lot of research into this. I can vouch for what Center is going to say in the interview, but I think it's a positive book for people to read because you wake up one day and your life is upside down and you're saying, wait, what am I being charged with? And the charges are even, it's like mail fraud. And basically he was accused of defrauding the University of Texas when everyone was signing off on this kid getting in to be a basketball manager. So, and then Barnes, Patterson fired Barnes and in came, Shaka Smart, and basketball still wanted Chiappe as the manager. So it even transcended the two basketball coaches in the basketball program. And, obviously Michael Center, like I said, his team won the national championship as he's getting indicted and then fired. And he had no facility. He coached this team. It's a phenomenal story. They were playing at the intramural courts. They were practicing at the polo grounds down in Dripping. They're playing matches at Caswell, the public tennis center at 24th and Lamar. Like, for a big time program, this was embarrassing. And Center held it together. These players, were probably toughened by all of the adversity they were going through. And they ended up, beating Wake Forest for the national championship. So it's a phenomenal story. It's a crushing story for Center. You'll see quotes throughout the book from his players, from the people who've been around him, saying what a earnest, forthright guy he is. And the book really talks about his cultural pillars, his foundation for success, because he found himself having to rely on all the coaching he'd done for his players to coach himself to get up off the mat after having his life turned upside down. And he'll talk about it. It's a fascinating story. It's ultimately, thank goodness, it's an uplifting story. But the guy, he can't get a real estate license. He can't get a stockbroker's license, areas that he had worked in before. He can't vote, for God's sake. He's a convicted felon. And if you get on the wrong side of a federal investigation, it's rough.
Yeah, it's rough.
Because they will fight you to the death. If you decide to fight, they'll drag it out. I mean, even his sentencing was dragged out 6 months, which was, very difficult for him because he's got kids he's trying to put through college and on and on. So, yeah, it's a layered story. It's all in the book. It's a quick read. It's not very thick. It's like this is a paperback. It's like 100 pages. I got it for $10 on Amazon. But yeah, that was a very traumatic time under Steve Patterson that caused a lot of consternation.
Oh, Steve Patterson.
Del Conte told Center, "Man, I hate that we're having to let you go. This never would have happened if I was the AD," and that's true too. But it's a rough story saga. But
Coach different from me. I would have brought everybody down with me. All the folks that knew what was going on, all the folks that signed off on things. You think I'm going to the pen for y'all? You kidding me? No, yeah. Coach Center, he's better than me because everybody would have came down with me. Everybody.
Yeah,
he got a lot more dignity than I do because, man, it's a crazy story. Incredible story. Yeah, very excited to have him on.
Yeah. Zay, the Texas Longhorns are taking on the Sam Houston Bearcats Saturday night, first night game of the season for the Bearcats. And this defense for the Bearcats is ripe for the taking. Listen to this. They are 129th of 133 teams in FBS in scoring defense, giving up 38.7 points per game. Their pass defense is 131st, giving up 314.7 yards per game through the air. So if Arch Manning in the passing offense can't get into sync against the Bearcats, then we've got some issues. I think it's fair to say.
Yeah, more than fair. This offense, they've been very stagnant these last few weeks, or really this last game. I think the defense helped them a lot against San Jose State, and I still wonder what would have happened if they had to go rack off some longer drives, if, they would have struggled there, whether it's the self-inflicting wounds from the penalties or it's just Arch Manning being inaccurate. And now you're playing against one of the worst passing defenses in all the nation. If you can't score on these guys, if you can't run it up, if you can't get whatever you want, no matter who's in the game, I get DeAndre Moore might not be available again. Contrarian Wisner, this is one of those who gives a crap type of games. It don't matter if you and I were in there. There needs to be some completions here, and there needs to be just some consistency with moving the football. Offensive line, the running game too. You probably won't have CJ Baxter. All right. Time for James Simon, Christian Clark, and Jared Gibson to step up and rack up some explosive plays on the ground just to get your confidence up, man. Because this offense, they need that. Your quarterback needs that. Your play caller needs that. Steve Sarkisian, he has to feel good about what he's trying to call and what he's trying to accomplish once SEC play starts. So, yes, this is one of the bigger weekends that, like you said yesterday, you wouldn't think it would be such a big weekend and big game with Sam Houston coming into town for this night game. But unfortunately, it is Arch Manning. We got to see what mentally he's made of. Like, yeah, he said all the right things. He's been saying all the right things. Has taken full responsibility of the lack of production that he's putting on the field each and every Saturday. But now it starts to, now it's starting to pick up to where it's like, all right, you're running out of time for all these exhibition games. Like, you can't get it going now, then, like I said before, 7-5, you can see it. You can see it in front of you. And that's devastating for the talent of this team. That's devastating for this defense, who's a national championship defense. Like, Steve Sarkisian, you're a big-time offensive guy. Everybody wants to play for Sark because he gets guys open. His offenses are money. So you got to capitalize on an opportunity where your schedule might be the lightest, even though it's still the SEC, that you'll have based on the upcoming years on who you might possibly have to play going to a 9-team schedule. And this is one of those years, man, you just never know when you're going to get it this good. So I do expect them to look a lot better. I don't have them covering. I can't do it. Like, they've shown me enough bad to say, nah, Zay, that ain't a good move. They can still blow them out, but come on, man. Like, UTEP, they ain't the 85 Bears. You should have been able to move the ball against UTEP. I think this is also a very undisciplined team. When you have guys that should be leaders not making mistakes, like DJ McCampbell making mistakes each and every week, that's a little worrisome. So, again, all we are talking about is this offense. We have nothing to say about the defense. The defense is money. If we're really nitpicking, it's about Colin Simmons and seeing his production rise, even though he's getting a lot of attention. So, yeah, offense, it's time, man. Like, come on with it. Like, this is one of those games where, yeah, you want to put in guys, second string, third string players because you're up by 40. But even then, Ship, this is how bad this offense has been. You might just want to run it up and keep that first team in as long as you can to where you're up by 50. Arch maybe has 5-6 touchdowns just to say, all right, we got some confidence. We're feeling good about ourselves heading into this bye. Let's get good 2 weeks of work in and preparation before Florida and the rest of this brutal SEC slate. But, yeah, this offense, it's time to pick it up.
Yeah, I mean, it's as we've been saying pretty much all week, it's all anyone's talking about. Everyone's, coming in like sharks to chum in the water to assess, bash, hammer what's going on with the Texas offense, what's going on with Arch Manning. The running game has been inconsistent, and, everyone's wondering, okay, is there something bigger going on? Is Arch injured? Does Texas have a lack of leadership on the offensive side? I mean, it's like a feeding frenzy, and the noise has never been louder. So for Texas, it's it's an opportunity to quiet the noise, if only for a couple weeks. And that's the other thing, Zay. There is an off week after this game, so you want things to get quiet so that the team can work for the next 2 weeks without the constant, all the sports talk shows, making it the lead of their the lead topic on their shows, because you got to, at some point, you got to turn this thing and you got to make it where it's a positive, and get this, thing back on the tracks, because when you think it's going to be one thing and it's totally not, everyone's like, well, okay, what's going on? What's going on? Let's look. Let's peek in there. What the heck's going on? And that can become a big old distraction, especially in the age of NIL and the transfer portal. Everybody's got an opinion. I mean, Nico Iamaleava left Tennessee looking for more money, ended up at UCLA. a lot of people thought they had the answers in that situation. And you don't want perception to become reality. That happens a lot in college football. Sometimes you can turn it and quiet the noise. Sometimes it becomes reality. It just becomes a prophecy because you can't get it turned. And that's why I said Steve Sarkisian's going to earn all 10 million of those dollars this year, because it's his side of the ball. It's a little bit of everything. The offensive line has struggled with the defenses that are using a lot of movement. But it's, I was talking to a coach today who said it should not matter. And yeah, you've got young running backs, but if you're getting recruited at Texas, you should know where to hit the hole in the running game. And Steve Sarkisian talked about that today, saying they did miss where the runs were supposed to hit a bunch of times against UTEP. That's a concern.
Yeah.
I don't think we've heard that under the, I'm not trying to call anyone out, but you got new coaches. You're trying to get it all tied together, and it needs to come together quick.
I mean, if Tashard Choice was still running the show, would those things be happening? No offense to Chad Scott, I'm sure he's a terrific coach, but thus far, this isn't something you want to hang your hat on for the new running backs coach at the University of Texas. These 3 games, you don't feel good about the 3 games. Now, Travian Wisner, TJ Baxter, they're supposed to be a big part of your running game. Travian Wisner hasn't been available much. Now CJ Baxter won't be available. So those guys, they are young, but yeah, I'm with you. And whatever coach you talk to, like, it shouldn't matter. Like, these are things that guys should be picking up on. And those mistakes, like self-inflicting wounds, like, we don't know what hole we're supposed to hit. Do we know what route we're supposed to run? Like, it's a trickle-down effect. This arch, when it comes to the playbook, is he as locked in as he can be? It seems like everybody, the assignments for the offensive line, the communication, that's off at times, where guys are blocking no one on pulls. Like, you ain't getting no contact on anybody? What the hell are we calling these plays for then? Then it goes back to the coaching. So, yeah, just everything seems to be out of whack. And it's very odd to see, but you hope that they can figure it out. Like, that's why I will continue to say, I'll probably like, oh, damn, Zay, again, you always say this shit. Yeah, I do. You're getting paid $10 million, bro. Your assistants are getting paid a hefty amount too. Figure it out. Figure it out. Like, it would be devastating for this team to lose 3 games. Devastating. It could definitely happen. There are a lot of good teams out there, especially in the SEC. We've been talking about it. Vanderbilt. Look at A&M. Look at John Mateer, what he's doing in Oklahoma. Obviously Georgia, what Gunnar Stockton and those guys just show. All those teams can beat you. So, and I throw Florida in there too. Even though Florida hasn't been playing well, like, for somebody to throw 5 interceptions to still lose by 10, something's still going right. Billy Napier still doing a decent job somewhere with that defense. So, yeah, man, like, that's very disturbing to hear that guys aren't hitting the right holes and stuff, because it's just, man, there's going to be moments where you're playing these defensive fronts when you better hit that hole or you're going to cut that average in half of whatever they had, 4.0 yards a carry. They're going to cut that in half and then some against these way better defenses that you're about to play. So, yeah, we need to know where to go. I feel like that's elementary.
Yeah, you got to get the confidence going back up, because right now it's doing this, and your first 2 games in the SEC are going to be teams that have really good defensive lines who have made it tough for really good teams. We talked about how Florida was able to hold LSU to 20 points, even though Florida's quarterback threw 5 interceptions. That that should have been a recipe for a blowout, especially in college. So look, it's you're trying to get the riddle solved. Coaches are paid big bucks because the best coaches are the ones who solve problems the fastest. And that's where we are right now with Texas. So it's a multi-layered onion. And look at how after one game with the Lions, as we'll talk to John Brown here in a second, it looked awful. The offense looked awful. And they got it turned around, scored 52 on Chicago the next week. It's, Steve Sarkisian says they're close. And how much is DeAndre Moore not being in? How much is, Quintravian Wisner not being in? The best leader on that offense is Quintravian Wisner. So he probably needs to be on the field as a guy who can challenge guys, calm them down, encourage them, because he's a guy who gets it. And he's a guy who's no one expected for him to be doing what he's doing.
Yeah,
these blue collar guys, man, the guys who've had to work it from the ground up, like Colt and Taff and Quintravian Wisner, those guys are invaluable.
Yeah, you look at last year's squad, like Quinn Ewers, he wasn't that vocal leader. He was a lead by example guy, but they had guys like Jake Majors you could rely on. They had guys like Kelvin Banks that you could rely on, Hayden Connor, that they don't have that right now on the offensive line. That's why I keep talking about DJ Campbell. He has to step his game up. That's a dude that has to step. He can't be making mistakes, man. He just has too much experience to do that. And he might have to start using his voice more. Trevor Goosby's trying, you know what I'm saying? But again, he just doesn't have the skins on the wall to where it really sticks there. So as you mentioned, no Quintravian Wisner, no DeAndre Moore. Those are your two best leaders on your offense. Then it goes to CJ Baxter. Now he's gone. So your three best leaders aren't available right now. Everything that's flying at Arch, it's hard for him to be a leader for this team. That's why I thought it was very important for Michael Taft to sit with him in that presser on Monday. Mookie Taft, I think, understood the assignment like, yo, man, on offense, there's no leaders. The defense, they're going to have to help with this leadership for the offense. I'm going to sit in with Arch and take some of these bullets for him and be there for my guy and show that he's there for my guy. And you remember what Ant Hill talked about last week, said we don't talk to the quarterbacks during the game and stuff. And I was like, I understood what he meant, but sometimes guys need that, man. Sometimes you just never know who it's from. Some guy just needs from the defensive side, especially like an Ant Hill. Just go up to Arch and be like, hey, you good, man? We got you. We're going to get that ball back for you. Just something as little as that could ignite something in Arch to where it gets his confidence up. And no, GOJ, I do not think Steve Sarkisian has lost the locker room because of, as you say, the name, meant talking about Arch Manning. I don't think he's lost the locker room at all. But if it keeps going,
this is the kind of stuff, that's what I'm talking about.
Rat poison. I love
it. Right. Perception and reality. And right now, everybody's just throwing whatever they want up against the wall to say, oh, he's lost the locker room. No, I mean, but you've got to get it. You got to get it turned, because otherwise more of this kind of conjecture will be out there. And
the name is crazy, GOJ. We can't even call him Arch no more. We're calling him the name. That's where it's gotten to. Man. That's just what it is. This is where we are.
It is what it is.
This is where we are, man.
It's and here's Quintravian Wisner, right? He's got a hamstring injury.
Damn, him too? I thought it was just a knee swelling or something. I didn't know it was a hamstring.
Yep.
So both him and TJ Baxter got hamstring injuries.
Yeah.
Good.
Now, Wisner's been resting his. So do you bring him back for Sam Houston? Or do you keep trying to get him right so that there's no recurrence once you're into SEC play? I mean, this is the kind of stuff you're talking about, like Steve Sarkisian, who I heard has been getting up some people's backsides this week about making sure that everybody's on point about what is required.
Yeah.
On the
coaches
offensive
too,
line.
right? I'm sure coaches too.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Coaches. Yeah. Hell yeah. That's what I want to hear.
Yeah. He's coaching his coaches this week.
Yeah.
And because, do you rush a guy back? Not rush, but you've got 2 weeks before you play Florida. So if you got a hamstring, let's bring in the man. Let's bring in John Brown, 2-time Mr. Universe.
What's going on with you?
Father of 3 5-star wide receiver sons, Equanimous, Osiris, and Amon-Ra St. Brown, and the founder of Cane Protein, caneprotein.com. You want to get some muscles? Hey, we're doing good. How are you doing?
Hot in California. It's 100 degrees.
Ooh.
Looks like you got a jacket on.
No, because I went to the gym. I don't like showing off when I'm in the gym.
You don't want all the women to come running after you looking at those.
No. My arms are not as massive as they used to be, so I don't like the way I look. The average guy would go, "Yeah, your arms look good, but not to me."
Okay, all right.
So what's going on with y'all?
We're trying to figure out what's going on with Arch Manning. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, I don't know, man. I stay out of that.
Yeah. It's like looking at a big old Sudoku puzzle.
What's your opinion?
I think he got off to a rough start, and after all the hype, it got to him. I think he was going through a little confidence crisis. I mean, he's never had adversity. He's never had people coming after him like he is now.
That's a problem.
So
you don't have it. You don't live with adversity. Woo, it's difficult when it hits you.
Right. I mean, you were taking your boys and dropping them off in Compton and saying, "Hey, go play some pickup basketball. If you get in a fight."
That's my point. You got to give your kids, challenge them. You have to put them at the bottom, make them fight to get to the top. If not, what's gonna happen when they like Arch? He's having a hard time. Hope the young man makes it through, but he has to work hard.
Yeah.
It ain't easy.
Yeah. It ain't easy. Well, hey, how about the Detroit Lions, my man?
Come on, man.
I mean, from the canvas to the title. I mean,
look good. They look real good. They went back to the drawing board, figured it out, made some adjustments, and like Dan Campbell said, they got more wrinkles to iron out, but they got to keep doing what they're doing.
Yeah, I mean, Amon. So, it seemed like against the Packers, John, that he was running a lot of deep routes, and the pass rush was getting to Goff, and he didn't have the time to find his receivers.
If I can't see the 22 man, the whole field, it's hard to see what was going on. What kind of routes he was running. I couldn't see it, but whatever it was, they made an adjustment, and that's what's important in football, right?
Yeah, and they were pouring it on old Ben Johnson. 4th and goal, touchdown. Amon-Ra St. Brown.
Sorry for my man Ben.
That's what I was saying, John. That was cold. They didn't have to do Ben like that.
That was cold?
Yeah, they didn't have to do Ben like that. Ben's the homie.
Oh, man. Look here. I'd have ran this. If I was a coach, I'm running the score up on everybody.
Yeah. Run it up.
Women, men, children, I don't care. I'm running the score up on everybody. You don't like it, don't show up in my stadium.
Yeah.
Belichick never had mercy on guys.
Right.
Yeah.
It's not the Lions' job to slow down the Lions.
Because I tell you something, they're all getting paid. They're all NFL guys. They can make a comeback on you.
Yeah.
If you don't, they can come back. They're
Remember
good
that
players all over the place.
We were talking about the game where Goff threw 5 interceptions last year, and the Lions came back and beat the Texans.
Right? Ooh, I forgot about that. 5 interceptions. See, so teams can make a mount a charge on your team. So you gotta put the foot on the gas. Don't let up. Ever let up. No mercy under no circumstances.
That's right. That's right.
But by the way, John, what did you think of Amon-Ra's celebration where he faked the injury?
Oh man, I'm so pissed. I told him, don't you ever do that again. Shit. Because I didn't know he was gonna do it. And I'm sitting right in front of him. And he did that. I thought, oh shit, he went down. I said he hurt his hamstring. But the way he grabbed it, I thought, oh man, he must have torn it. So I thought it was real. I didn't know he was gonna do it. I was so pissed. I go, don't you ever freaking do that again. If you're gonna do something like that, you gotta warn me.
What'd he say?
He's laughing. He think it's funny. That's not funny. That's not funny.
Yo, I bet all of Detroit Nation probably.
Yeah, was like, what the hell? Yeah.
Oh, man.
I guess it got something from a game, one of those gaming streams. I don't know what they play, Fortnite or
Call of video Duty. Game?
A video game where they self, what do you call it?
They recover, regenerate.
Self-regenerated, self-recovery. And that's the way they be moving on the video game he's doing. I'm like, man, stop doing that. What are you doing that for,
Hey, I saw that Honey Nut Cheerios commercial where where he's, on his head.
Love that.
You were like, hey man, do that every time.
I said, do it again. He hasn't done it, but he doesn't quite understand that. He's young. He doesn't understand marketing, Like
yeah, I mean, he owns that. Like that.
He owns it, right?
He does.
Everyone
associates it with him.
You got to claim it and do it again. People will be happy to do that, to take a picture and see that. But no, you don't know. No, I need to do something new.
I love it. So you were in Detroit.
So what do you think? Baltimore. Come on, talk to me.
Yeah. Come on. They're on the road. They got to go to Baltimore.
Got to go to Baltimore, man.
Yeah. 2 years ago, it was rough. 2 years ago, it was rough.
But I tell you what I think they're going to do. I like that Tesla guy. He's surprised me.
Tesla, or however they pronounce it.
Yeah, I mean, this dude got hands. Dude got hands. And I'm telling you right now, when he's in the lineup, it's going to be rough.
That's good.
Who you going to guard?
Right. J-Mo, Amon, and now Tesla.
Mm-hmm.
I like it. And you got Laporta and Max Wright. Let's go.
It's a lot.
Now,
it's a lot.
Can that defense slow down the Ravens?
That's it. That's what I'm concerned about. If they can't, we're talking about a shootout at the OK Corral. And you don't want to have a shootout.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's gonna be tough.
They don't have Kyle Harrison though.
Who's Kyle Harrison?
Their stud safety. Am I getting that right?
Hamilton. Kyle Hamilton.
Oh, all right. Hamilton's out.
Well, he was. I don't know.
Oh, that's horrible.
I don't know. Let me see if he's back.
He's Notre Dame boy, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I hate to see kids get hurt. That's awful.
Yeah. By the way, John, Texas, they're dealing with a hamstring injury at their running back position. What would you recommend for that? Multiple guys got hamstring injuries.
It depends on if it's their first or second injury. I would just let it rest and then slowly bring them back. But I wouldn't stretch them unless it's like their fifth or sixth injury and it develops scar tissue. If they develop scar tissue, they have to stretch. But in general, I'm saying stretching is bad. most guys get injuries because they stretch too much. You don't have a loose rubber band running around the field. You need that rubber band to be tight. So, oh man, how many guys went down with hamstring?
They got two running backs. Two running
backs.
I want to know if it happened before. Do they have history? How many times? Because my son never had a problem with hamstring until he went to Notre Dame and they made him stretch. And then he started having hamstring problem.
Okay.
And stretching is not good, I'm telling you.
All right, I'm gonna look into that. By the way, Kyle Hamilton is playing, so he's back.
Good. I hate to see guys get injured. He's a good player. They have
Roy
a good team.
Yeah. Roy wants to know if you're in the Hummer that you bought secretly.
Big time at the golf course right now. My sons are all pissed at me. They're out their freaking minds. Telling me what I deserve, what I don't need. Need. It ain't a question of need. It's a want. What are you talking about?
Yeah. So that's it. That's looking good. You got the white interior.
Oh yeah, we rolling. Shoot. Telling me not to. What kind of kids are that? I thought for sure they would support me.
I love it.
I get no support, man. I'm like, come on, man. Give me a break, brother.
Yeah. What time's your tee time?
Well, actually, I'm here at the course gonna just practice.
Okay.
Just to make sure when it's time to throw down. I'm trying to get back down to like at least a 5 or 6 handicap.
Ooh. I see you, John.
Yeah, I used to be really good. I used to be a 4, but then I stopped playing when I had the kids. Now I'm trying to get back to at least single digit.
Yeah.
Even if I get to a 9, I'm happy, or 8. I just want to be in single digit.
So, what do you think about the Packers now that they got Micah Parsons?
Yeah. They look good, man. Without Micah Parsons, they look good. Now with him, they look even better. Packers ain't no joke. I'm telling you right now. I'm just concerned. I hope they don't peak too early.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm okay if they peak too early. The Packers.
Yeah. I tell you one thing. That Packers Lions game gonna be a game.
Yeah. In Detroit.
Oh,
yeah.
They got to come to the D. That's gonna be a game, right there.
Yeah.
That's gonna be a game.
Yeah. How's Equinemius doing?
He's doing good. He had a foot surgery, and it wasn't a major surgery, so he's walking without a boot. So I think I don't know what the doctor said, but I'm hoping in 2 weeks he's able to, jog a little or so. And
how did he hurt it? Did he hurt it like non-contact or?
Oh no! It's been like that for. I don't know how long when he hurt it. I think it was in camp. He hurt it during camp or something like that. I don't know. Look, these guys don't tell me anything. I think it was during camp or something like they heard it.
You got to listen to their podcast.
When you have kids like that, yeah, that's why I find out everything. They don't tell you nothing. How you doing? Good.
Ahmed cracks me up, man, because he's like a man of few words. It seems. Every time I look over at the
What happened?
Oh, you there? Can you hear me now? JB?
He gone.
Well, he's still connected. I don't know what's going on. There he is. JB, can you hear me?
Something's going on here.
Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now?
Yo, man.
What's that commercial?
The Verizon commercial?
Yeah. Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now? Yeah, Amon cracks me up because he's like the most animated guy when touchdown celebrations. He's always celebrating with his teammates. And then like trying to get words out of him he's a man of few words. Let's put it that way.
Yeah. No,
his father is much more loquacious, if
I
you
don't
will.
know, man. He has a personality. You hear him on his podcast, him and Equimemius.
Oh yeah,
Guys, they got mad personality. It's a
they
good
do.
podcast.
They do with each other, which is why that podcast is so good.
Yeah.
Yeah, because if you let's see. JB, can you hear us? Can you hear us? Hear me now? Can you hear me now? If you can hear me now, either reconnect or we'll catch up next week. All right, let's see. We'll see how that goes. All right. Yeah. Those guys are hilarious. That's a good podcast.
It is good.
You like it, don't you?
I do. They had Panay Sewell on not too long ago. And Amara asked Panay Sewell when Sewell first met Amara, what was his thoughts? And Panay Sewell was like, "Oh, I just thought it was a light-skinned, soft Cali kid coming in that thinks he's hot stuff, thinks he's better than everybody, pretty boy." And Amara was like, "That's how you are." He was like, "That's how you act. Like, you were the big hot shot dude coming in and stuff." And yeah, you could tell just that whole Detroit team, they got something. They get along well. And you saw it in like Receiver, the Netflix docuseries, and also Quarterback with Jared Goff. Like, that just whole community is very tight. And then you, of all people, know, like, now that there's success happening up in the D, it's a different vibe, man. And everybody's excited and everybody's enthusiastic about it and optimistic. And yeah, I got something cooking there. So it's fun to see.
Yeah. Well, that's a hell of a game. Lions at Ravens.
Yeah. That Lamar Jackson.
Here we go.
I mean, that Lamar Jackson boy.
I can tell you're already taking the Ravens.
I don't want to. It could change. Just, I remember last time y'all went up there. That was rough. It was like 2 years ago or something.
Yeah, like 38-7.
Yeah, that was before Derrick Henry. I don't even think Derrick Henry was on the team yet. So now you got to stop him too. Which Derrick Henry, he's been fumbling recently.
Yeah.
He's been fumbling more than usual. You don't see Derrick Henry fumble. These last 2 weeks, they've popped that ball out twice. So I wouldn't count on it happening another time, but who knows?
Yeah, I got Derrick Henry on my fantasy team, and I don't need those. He was running for big yards, and then look.
Yeah.
Ball's out. Yeah, that's not usually him. Yeah, that's gonna be a tough one.
Yeah, it happens to the best.
Yeah, and Equinemius is with the 49ers, but he's I think they signed him to he's injured, so
yeah.
Love to see how much they love him.
They got so many injuries. I don't know what the hell's going on there. Brock Purdy's out. George Kittle's out. They still have Brandon Ayuk out. We know the history with Christian McCaffrey. Like, they got some issues up there in San Fran that they need to get sorted. Which I saw a picture.
And they're 2-0.
They're 2-0 somehow. Yeah. Yeah. Like, it's crazy. I saw a picture of those Texas boys that were on the Saints and on San Fran. Alfred Collins, he took a picture with Jalen Ford and, Vernon Broughton and Kelvin Banks. It was a cool picture. It was cool to see all those guys doing well in the pros and how their careers are taking place and representing Texas well. I'm sure Steve Sarkisian Probably got a glimpse of it. Very proud guy.
Yeah. Yeah, man. They need they could use Kelvin Banks.
Yeah.
Back in Austin.
Yeah, right. That dude, man. Yo, he had his welcome to the league moments because Nick Bosa, that was a tough matchup. Nick Bosa got him one time and sacked Spencer Sanders or whatever. Spencer Rattler,
Spencer Rattler.
Spencer freaking Rattler.
Hey, I did not think Spencer Rattler would still be in the NFL at this point.
Yeah. He's not the best, but he has his moments where you remember him being a big-time 5-star prospect. You know, he has his moments where he does some things where you're like, damn, that was a hell of a throw, but he doesn't have much talent there in New Orleans to work with. You know, it's a tough place to win. Like, you expect them to have the number 1 pick come 2026, and, you know, they drafted old Tyler Shuck. They thought that he was going to win the job, and Spencer Rattler won it. So clearly they have respect for Spencer Rattler because he got knocked out of bounds, and I saw Kelvin Banks and those boys ready to fight them San Fran dudes over some Spencer Rattler, which that was me. You know, Spencer, get your ass up. Let's get back and run the next play. I ain't going over to fight nobody for you, but clearly, Spencer Rattler earned the respect of his peers and his teammates to where they're going to go to bat for him. So even though New Orleans is struggling their ass off, at least they got that. And at least that's promising.
So I'm looking at the completion percentage in the NFL right now. Jared Goff, number 1, 80%, 80.6% passing. Jalen Hurts is second at 75.6. Brock Purdy is third, 74.3. Then Tua, 72.7. Justin Herbert is 5. And Daniel Jones is 6. Indiana Jones.
Danny Dimes.
That's, you know, I got the LA Chargers being the surprise team. Picked them to beat the Chiefs. They're going to be a problem. They're going to be a problem this NFL season. Because
people are thinking it's because of Justin Herbert's fine-ass girlfriend, Madison Beer.
Oh, yeah.
People are giving her a lot of credit. Hey, you know me, I'm about that. Your girlfriend could up your game. Your significant other could change your life. I'm all about that. Y'all know we love around here on Chip and Zay. So if love has helped Justin Herbert's game, hey, keep getting that love, Justin Herbert. I ain't mad at it because now Quentin Johnson looking like the man. You already got my favorite white boy in the NFL, Lad McConkey. Not Lad Mahonky, Lad McConkey, y'all. The dude could play.
Lad Mahonky. Who came up with that?
Lad McConkey, baby. That dude's so cold, man. He is so cold. His get-off is so smooth.
Is the right call today about whether Diego Pavia is hooking up with Tate McRae?
No, man, that's not what the right call is today. I don't even have a right call at the moment. We're going to find one, obviously, but is that a thing? Tate McRae?
Yeah,
the Canadian pop star?
Yeah.
Yo, she's got something. I get it. I don't know if Diego can swing that. Is that a part of that Theo Von stuff?
Yeah.
Yeah, or Theo Von's going to take out Diego Pavia's mom. Yeah, the clumsy-ass mom that fell down the stairs last year because she didn't want to turn on the lights to wake her son because he had a game to get ready for. But his mama looked good, too. You know?
Yeah, Theo Vaughn will have to do, this is according to a report, Theo Vaughn will have to do Diego Pavia one more favor before he can finally go on a date with the Vanderbilt quarterback's mom. Reports emerged Saturday that Pavia had promised Vaughn a date with his mother if the Commodores defeated South Carolina. Pavia cleared up that there was another stipulation to the agreement that the quarterback posted on X. First, he wants Vaughn to set up a date with him and pop star Tate McRae. There you go. That was the right call for today. No, I'm kidding.
No. Have you seen Tate McRae?
Yeah, she's a cutie.
All right, yeah. She does her
cutie.
thing. Yeah. She does her thing for sure.
Diego.
I don't know what song. Like, if you had a gun to my head, said, Zay, name me a Tate McRae song, or we're going to blow that thing to smithereens. Hey, see y'all later. Hope y'all come to the funeral, because I don't know one Tate McRae song, man.
What is wrong with you?
I don't know what.
No, I mean, blow my brains to smithereens.
I don't know a Tate McRae song. Can we come up with
a different alternative for not knowing a Tate McRae song?
I'm telling you the scenario. Like,
hey, see y'all at my funeral.
I don't know any of her songs. I just, she comes up on the feed every once in a while. I look at it for a little bit, keep on scrolling. She looks like a Britney Spears, like a Canadian Britney Spears. That's what she has going for her.
Yeah.
I support that.
Yeah, I'm trying to keep up with all the pop stars.
Yeah.
I missed the MTV Video Music Awards or whatever.
Yeah, I missed that too. Yeah, I missed that too. That's just not. They honored my man Busta Rhymes. That's how I know I'm getting old. But Busta Rhymes is getting like
lifetime achievement
and stuff. Break your freaking neck, boy. Yeah. Busta Rhymes, leader of the new school. You've been doing it for a long time, but yeah, you ever want to feel old, things like that definitely make you feel old. But,
man. What any NFL games got your attention?
Let's see. I don't know what the Bengals are doing now with the Joe Burrow situation. I guess they're just going to stick with Browning. They're not going to go after Jameis. They're not going to see the Kirk Cousins situation, which maybe Atlanta's thinking something happened to Michael Penix. We still have a shot at something with Kirk Cousins, which I think that's a smart move because Atlanta can be good. Like, I think that loss against the Buccaneers, Baker went Baker. Baker seems like the most clutch player in the NFL right now with what he's been doing these last 2 weeks. But what they did against those Vikings, very impressive. And I saw Raheem Morris, he talked about Bijan Robinson and how just he thinks he's the best player in the NFL. And they're finally starting to use him like that. Like, use Bijan Robinson like a lot if you want to win. I get you got Algier there. You want to protect Bijan, but also you got him in the first round for a reason. Like, I still think Bijan is underrated for his usage. He's respected, but yeah, you got to get his reps up. I think the Falcons are finally starting to realize that, and I think they're dangerous. But quiet game is that NFC Championship rematch, Chip. Rams versus Eagles.
Yeah. That's in Philly, right?
That's in Philly, yeah, without the snow. So, that defense for Philly, they're good, but they still got some, wrinkles in there. Shout out to our guy, Andrew Makuba, doing his thing, earning all that playing time, getting sacks, interceptions. I still think he should have got that ball signed by Taylor Swift. for that first pick of his NFL career. But yeah, solid week. Broncos, Chargers, decent game. Nothing crazy though. Game of the week is definitely your Lions in Baltimore.
Well,
some might say Super Bowl preview. I don't know. Some might say Super Bowl preview this year. Maybe. You ain't buying that?
What?
Super Bowl preview, Monday Night Football, your Lions in Baltimore.
Oh, yeah. I'm buying that.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, I'm buying that.
All right, just make a show.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
That's what I'm hoping. Yeah.
By the way, we didn't talk about that. You didn't see a Terrence Crawford Canelo fight?
Oh, I did see it.
Yo, man. I ain't never seen nobody go at Canelo like that. That was different. Oh, Terrence Crawford, man. That's a gutter brother right there. He's nice. That dude's good. Like, he deserves the respect that he's getting right now. A lot of people don't respect Terrence Crawford. It ain't his fault that he's fighting in a different era. 42-0 speaks for itself. No, boxing ain't the same as it used to be, but he was just in the middle of the ring, just swinging with Canelo. Like, that's dangerous territory for 95% of the boxers that have faced Canelo. And Terrence Crawford said, "Nah, I'm one of them." That was impressive.
All right. I see him in the green room. Let's bring him in. Former Texas men's tennis coach and author, Michael Center. And we're congratulations.
Thank you. I wanted to be more like you. It's tough to be more like you, but I'm doing the best I can.
Hey, you're doing yeoman's work. How does it feel to be a published author?
Well, this is something I wanted to do. I will be the first one to say that I was not particularly good at it. I wrote this book and I looked at it and I read it, and it was not very well done. And a friend of mine who actually happened to be the student reporter at the University of Kansas when I was on the tennis team, and I had coffee, and he's like, "What are you doing?" I said, "I'm trying to do more speaking." He said, "Well, you need a book." I said, "Well, I wrote a book, but it's not very well done." So I can't take all the credit. He helped me put it together. I think it went from actually a pretty poorly written book to a pretty well-written book. But I'm going to give him most of the credit, and it has my name on it, and I'm proud of the finished product, but he really did a great job.
Well, as I said earlier in the show, it's a book about perseverance and overcoming monumental adversity. You were in the wrong place at the wrong time. And it's a book that others can, take lessons from if they're facing adversity in their life. Cause you found, and I'll let you, tell the story. I mentioned to Zay that, you basically were asked to help get a kid into school by the basketball program because the kid wanted to be a manager for the basketball team. And then all hell followed. Why don't you take it from there?
Well, to talk about the story itself, you have to go back to 2012, and I'll just give a quick run through. But on the ballot that year, there was a referendum to build a new medical school on campus. University of Texas, flagship school, wants to have a medical school on the campus, and I voted for it. Everybody voted for it. It passed pretty easily, but no one ever told me that the building was going to be built right on top of our tennis courts. I had no idea. And at the time, DeLoss Dodds was the athletic director. He called me and he said, hey, they're going to build a new medical school. The problem is they're going to have to tear down your tennis courts to do it. And so I said, can we hold them off at least till the spring of 14? Because they wanted to do it in December or January of 13 into 14. I said, we're in the middle of our season. So as soon as we finished our year in 14, they tore the facility down and they built the medical school. Well, at that point, DeLoss had left. Steve Patterson had come in. Chris Plonsky and Steve Patterson are running the department. They come to me and some donors and say, hey, we need $10 million to build a new tennis center. And when you get it 10, we'll come up with the other 5, and then we'll put a shovel in the ground. And that was a lot to ask, because we just raised $8 million to build an indoor tennis facility. And so I get this phone call, and now I get to where you are a few months later, and I'm struggling to come up with $10 million. And so is the department. I mean, no one can come up with a $10 million. When I present it to people, they say, well, the university tore it down. Why isn't the university, building the new facility? And at the time, DeLoss had promised us $15 million to redo the tennis center. And we were going to build it out at Whitaker Fields at 51st and Guadalupe. And that money disappeared. I have my theories. I don't know exactly what happened, but that was the transition when Mac left and Charlie Strong came in. And as you know, there's a lot of money that goes out the door when you make a coaching change like that. So I'm trying to find $10 million, and I get a call, and this guy, I know him. He's in and out of the basketball office all the time. He's friends with the coaches, and he says, hey, this kid wants to come into school. He's wants to be the basketball manager. We'd never done anything like this, but I'd never been asked to raise $10 million before. The father is well off, and kids get into school in various ways. We all know that. I don't need to go into all the detail, but they're kids who've gotten into school for years and years and years in various ways. And I put the kid's name in, and I went and met with the athletic department. I said, this young man will never play tennis. He will be the basketball manager. You have to issue a letter of intent, which requires a tremendous amount of vetting. Everybody knew who he was. He had to get a physical. They assign a room to him. He gets hired by the department. He's in the human resource. It's no secret what's going on. Fast forward, I made a mistake. I accepted some money at the end. I never intended to do that, but I did. I admitted to that. I didn't feel like it was a bribe, because it wasn't like, hey, give me this, I'll do that. But we raised about $600,000 to $700,000 for the department, and they were all fine with it. They signed off on it. I'll say this one thing. No one came to my office and said, how did this young man go from being a tennis player to the basketball manager? Not one person asked me that question. And everybody knew. It wasn't a secret. Everybody knew. And 5 years later, the FBI shows up at my door. They'd wiretap me and got me to say, I guess, what they wanted me to say. They knew nothing about the tennis center. They knew nothing about anything. They didn't know anything about me. They shackled me. They arrest me. And then 6 months later, the University of Texas puts out, he's a lone wolf in this. We didn't know anything. He did it all. Well, at that point, I'd had to decide whether I had to plead guilty and fight the university and fight the government. And the cost associated with a fight like that is off the charts. I can't even begin to describe to you what it's like emotionally and financially to try to take on that battle. And I made a quick decision that I was not going to take on that battle and risk my children's future and where they could go to school and lose my house. And so I pled guilty. And I knew that I didn't defraud the school, but I had no choice. But once you plead guilty, there's no coming back. You can't say anything. You're told if you say anything, the judge could be more punitive towards you. The university wrote this this report, which was an internal investigation. I said, well, if you want to really find out something, I would think you do an external investigation, and you would think that they would interview myself or my assistant or people associated with what was going on, but none of that happened. They just said it was all on me. So I couldn't say anything. And I go and I end up going to prison, and I wanted to write this book and tell my side of the story and how this process truly evolves. Because no one just walks in the door at the University of Texas and becomes a student athlete. It's not possible. And my question to them would be, if I did this all by myself, please explain to me how I did it. Because it's impossible for a tennis coach, or really for anyone, even a football coach, to do something like this. There's too many. You're not talking about UT Pan American. You're talking about the University of Texas, where some schools might have one person. Texas has 6 people. There's so many people and layers that you have to go through to get anything done. And I was stunned. I was shocked. One of the most depressing days of my life was when they wrote that report. That just floored me. I couldn't believe that this place that I had committed 19 years of my life, and we'd won a national championship that year, and that they said it was on me. But that's what happened. So I wrote the book. I made sure I told Jeff Cravens, I said, fact check everything. If you don't understand it, call whoever you want. Call the prosecuting attorney, call my attorneys, call the university, call whoever you want. I want the truth. And that's what I feel like this book is. It's the truth. And I'll stand behind that.
Well, one thing that this was part of that Varsity Blues, admissions, federal investigation. The charges against you, Michael, were for defrauding the university.
Honest service fraud and wire fraud. They said I defrauded the university, and I'm like, how is that possible? How can you say I defrauded the university when they knew everything about this kid and they were accepting money from his father? I don't understand that. But the prosecutor told me in my first meeting, I said, well, this is what happened. He said, no, you did it all by yourself. I said, no, I did not. He said, he screamed at me, you're lying, you're lying, you're lying. I said, no, I promise you, you don't know me, but I'll tell you right now, I am not lying. And you can go and I'll give you go ask for the national letter of intent. There'll be signatures. There's a protocol. There's a vetting process. And he said, if you don't agree to what I say, what happened, I will bring more charges against you and make sure you go to prison for a very long time.
Yeah, the U.S. government was trying to defend its investigation, an investigation where you had some wealthy people using their funds to get their kids into school. But in this situation, the school was getting hundreds of thousands of dollars in donations from Michael Chiappe's family.
Father, yeah. No, the more I look back on it, when you're in that moment, your emotions take over you in a way that it's hard to even describe. It's hard to even imagine that I got that low and I was that emotional and my mind was working that quickly. But when I look back on it, it's really amazing that this transpired. And but it did. It happened. And I'm not saying that I was perfect. I own my mistake, but it could have been resolved, I think, in a much different way. I don't think I feel like I went to prison for things that I did not do. That's how I feel at this point. And I wrote about it in the book and I laid it all out. And I tried to make it a story of redemption, of how you come back when things don't go your way, because adversity finds us all. You know that. Everybody knows that. Adversity is going to find you, and how you deal with it and how you pick yourself back up. And so I wrote this book, and I get messages every day I received one yesterday from a former player that I coached way back in the day. And he said, I've gone through a very difficult, and I posted on Facebook today, I've gone through some difficult times, and this book made me feel like I could overcome it. It inspired me, and I want to thank you for writing this book. And that has made it worthwhile. And I'm really happy that I did it.
Yeah.
Well, and you said you found yourself having to coach yourself, like you and talk about that, because that's the uplifting part of this book. Is you found yourself facing, giving up. You had terrible thoughts.
Yes.
And you had to decide, I got to get out of this hole. And you fell back on your coaching.
The day I had to report to prison, this is a pretty amazing story, and I can't believe this happened, but it did. It was 2 weeks after COVID had shut down the United States. It was April the 6th. The country basically shut down, March 12th or 13th. So 3 weeks later. So no one knew what to do. And I walk in the door and they start asking me some very odd questions about, have I ever been sexually assaulted? Is this happened? Has that happened? And I'm like, no. He says, well, you look a little shaken. I said, well, yeah, I am a little shaken.
I'm going to prison.
I'm going to prison. I never, if you told me 1,000 things could happen to me in my life, this was not on the list. And I've never been in trouble in my life. I've never practically had a speeding ticket, and now I'm going to prison. And he says, well, have you ever thought about committing suicide? I said, well, yeah, it entered my mind, but I'm not going to do that. I have a family. I have a home. I have friends. I would never do that. I'm going to do this period, and I'm going to go home. Well, I want to be safe. And they knew that I was like a person that had been marked, that my file was marked media, meaning this case had taken on so much notoriety and attention. They knew who I was coming through the door. And I feel like this guy said, wanted to, I don't know why, but he's like, I'm going to watch you and I'm going to put you on suicide watch. And I said, what is that? He said, well, we're just going to watch you. So they walked me down this hallway. It's hot. It's early April, but it's hot. I'm down in South Texas, and there's no AC. The AC is broken. And I walk into this cell with a concrete bed, steel latches, and this little 1-inch foam mattress on top of it. Like I'm going to sleep on top of this brick bed. And they said, take all your clothes off, and you're going to be in here until we tell you can come out. And for 48 hours, I'm just sweating in this, and they never turn the lights off. And you can't breathe. I couldn't eat. And some terrible thoughts started going through my mind that I couldn't make it. I just couldn't make it. This was more than I could handle. This is just, come on, I can run after a tennis ball all day. I can lift weights. I can, motivate people. I can fire people up, but we've gone beyond my level and my capability of handling stress. This is beyond my capability. And I had some terrible thoughts. And at that moment, I said to myself, I took a deep breath. I'll never forget. I took this deep breath and I said, what would you say to your team right now? Would you tell your guys to lay down, or would you tell them to get back up? And I said, get the hell up and stop acting like a wimp and take this head on. You told your team to fight and to persevere and to push and to compete. So you better do the same thing or you're a hypocrite. Mm. So I picked myself back up that day and I said, I'm going to fight. And I started fighting again. And that was the day that I changed my mindset, that I was not going to let them beat me. They were not going to have the last word. Not the University of Texas, not the government, not the Bureau of Prisons. None of them were going to beat me. I'm going to fight back. And that's what I did.
Wow, that's amazing. Michael, tell us a little bit about the people who helped you get through those moments. I know your old college coach back at Kansas is a big part of your life. Just talk about that a little bit throughout the process.
Well, we don't know each other. It's nice to meet you.
Yes,
Chip,
likewise.
I will put on record, is a friend of mine. I consider him a good friend of mine. And people like Chip and, I, so many of my former players, some of my former colleagues, um, my family, just would not leave me. They stuck by my side. They would call me. I had a group of 4 or 5 guys that literally would call me every day, headlined by my former college coach. And I was a freshman in 1982. This wasn't yesterday that I went to college to play. And they called me every day. And sometimes I was so emotional I couldn't even speak. I felt like I couldn't even breathe. I felt like everything was on top of me. So, how you treat people in life, it does come around. And hopefully I treated people well, and I pushed my players, but I hopefully, and I hopefully Chip would say this, that I have people's back, and I tried to help people my entire life. And
Oh, we're frozen. Are we frozen?
Yeah, I think so.
Man, what is what's going on? All right, I think our connection is frozen. Let's hope that we can get Michael back, because there are a couple more questions I want to ask. There he is. Okay, let's bring him back.
given to people, I feel like came back to me. It just came back more than I could have ever hoped. So, when you see someone and you help someone out, you don't know when it's going to come back to you. And when I really needed people there, they were there for me.
Yeah, and we're talking to Michael Center, former Texas men's tennis coach. The book is Breaking Serve: From Championship Coach to Prison and the Journey Back. And I've read the book. I think it's an uplifting book. Like I said, it's a book for anyone who's trying to work through adversity or is looking to, challenge themselves. It's a great read. It's an easy read. It's 100 pages, but it's powerful, and I would recommend it. Breaking Serve. You can get it on Amazon, wherever you buy books. And Michael, you're still fighting through the adversity, because I know you were a stockbroker at one time, and you can't get a stockbroker's license.
Well, there are lots of things I can't get. The other thing I had no idea is when you carry a felony, the limitations it puts on people. And I think that's a real issue in the criminal justice system, that it really, I think the system is designed for people to go back to prison. I hate to say that, but I think that's the truth. You offend, you come back out. It's difficult to work. It's difficult if I wanted to sell real estate, if I wanted to trade, if I wanted to work for a brokerage firm, it would be impossible. You couldn't get a license. And so it puts people in a difficult position. Luckily, I was, old enough and established enough and able to get back on my feet. And I'm a tennis coach. I can do some tennis. I do some other things. But if you're 25 or 30 years old and trying to restart, it makes it very, very challenging. So yes, I considered that, but there's no way I could do it again, because I couldn't get my license back.
Well, and tell everyone what you're doing now, because your former assistant coach at the University of Texas, David Roditi,
Yes,
is now the head coach at TCU,
correct.
and he's won a national championship now.
Yes, he's doing a great job. So I'm up
And
here in Fort Worth. I still have my home in Austin. So I go home on the weekends and see my wife. My children one's in New York working, the other one's a senior in college, and they're doing great. But I'm up here. I help run this academy. I teach some tennis, and I do speaking now. So anybody that's interested in listening to me speak, you can go on my website, which is called breakingserve.com. and I'm starting to do more public speaking and leadership training. And so I do a little bit of this and a little bit of that. I miss the coaching. I miss the kids. It's changed a lot since I left in 2019, but I'm doing great. I'm outside. I'm working. I'm having a good time. And Coach Roditi has been great. We're very close. He was my first assistant at Texas, and he's built a phenomenal program here at TCU.
Yeah. Well, Coach, talk about your 5 pillars that helped you get through this process. I thought that was fascinating. Just talk about that a little bit. Obviously, don't give us too much because y'all need to go out and get the book. But
yeah, I want you to go get the book. It's very interesting. When I wrote this book, I thought a lot about leadership and how I would coach and how I ran my program. And I wrote these things down. And the first one was empathy versus sympathy. And I use this example. When DeLoss was there as the athletic director, and I remember I was having a challenge with something in my life and with my family, and I went to see him. And I told him that I needed to do some things to help my family, and I was going to be out in the mornings a little bit. And he looked at me and he just said, "Michael, you need to take care of your family first." That's how DeLoss would handle something like that. And that's why you wanted to run through a wall for him. You cared because you knew that he cared about you. He was an empathetic man, and I really it impacted my leadership. And that's how I tried to treat my players. But I learned a lot from him. I learned a lot from people like Eddie Reese, so I built that pillar that I wanted to be an empathetic leader. I wanted to be a transformational leader, not a transactional leader. I wanted to make people feel like if I care about you, I can push you, and you're going to be able to do more than you think you can do, versus me saying, "Hey, go hit 54 hands cross court and get it done. And I'll come back when you're finished." That was not me. So I really believe in empathy versus sympathy. I really believe in establishing roles and helping people understand their value and why their role is valued. Not everybody's going to be number one on the team or the CEO, but everybody has an important role if you want to have a successful team. The number 85 guy in scholarship needs to have a successful, feel like they're important. And we had a guy that was number 8 on the team when he played on the team in 2019. And when the season was over, I called him. I said, "The team won the national championship in large part because of you. You took on the role of being the hardest worker, of trying to compete with everybody in practice, doing a great job in the weight room, cheering, and always being ready to step in when needed. So your role was so valuable, even though you weren't in the starting lineup." Then I talk about purposeful process versus the outcome. So many people focus on the outcome. What can happen to me? And if you can really understand and get engaged in the process of trying to develop things, you'll not only get better, but you'll reduce your anxiety and you can truly improve in whatever you're trying to do. I talk about, I'm not a big goal setter. I believe in standards. If I wake up and this is my standard on how I want to live my life and how I want to build my team or how I want to run my business or how I want to be with my family, and I don't worry about a goal, because a goal is something, once you obtain that goal, what are you going to do? Stop? Are you done? No, you got to keep going, right? And sometimes when people reach their goals, they don't know what to do. They're lost. But if I create standards that I can do each and every day, that will not only help me live a more successful life, but make me actually probably obtain more of the goals than I would have on the other hand. And then I talk about becoming a great competitor. The 5th one, I mean, everyone can try hard, but really, what's a good competitor? You have to problem solve. You have to figure things out. You have to be quick on your feet. You have to be able to make adjustments. If you're a tennis player, you got to be able to figure things out instantaneously. I hit the ball here, is most likely going to come over there. And so you're always having to compete and being able to sustain that for long stretches at a time. So those 5 things is how I built my program. That's how I try to live my life. And that has resonated with people. That has made people feel like I can apply those 5 pillars to my life, and I think they'll help me. And that's what's been really neat.
Yeah, Jack says, "Damn, I need this book." I'm telling you, it is a powerful read. It's a quick read, but I think every time you refer back to this book, it will remind you how to fight through, how to keep going, how to push. And you know, I finished the book. I reached out to you and said, I'm proud of you, because having covered Texas, I covered your story from beginning to end. And I know how difficult it was, because I was sitting there saying, let me tell your story. Let me tell your story. Maybe it can change. And, going up against the federal government, it's a daunting situation, because if they want, it just seems like if they want a guilty verdict, they're going to do whatever they can to get it. And if you're going to fight them, it's going to cost you a ton. So,
well, I'll tell you, there's a parent, the 2 people that fought them to the very end won. They were exonerated, but you don't really win. One guy, I saw him on national television, said he spent $10 million defending himself. 10
and he
million.
was innocent.
A parent. And he at the end, he was innocent. One of the coaches would not plead guilty. He fought and fought and fought, but financially it was devastating. And so you might win, but you're still going to lose. And so I'm as competitive, and anybody that knows me knows that I'm a very competitive person. But I have never seen anything like I saw with the federal government. I'd never seen anything like this. They were there to win, period. That there was no ifs, ands, and buts. We're here to win. And when I said, well, do you want me to tell you the story? And I started telling him my side of the story. And I said, you can fact check it. There's documentation. It's not like I'm making this up. You'll be able to go and see the signatures on the national letter of intent. You'll see the athletic director has to sign off on this. And he got very anxious. And he's like, that's when he started accusing me of lying. He's like, I'm going to win, and you better plead guilty. And you have 36 hours to plead guilty. And if you don't, basically, I'm going to turn your life into hell. And I ran home with my tail between my legs and said, guilty. And that's why I was so quick to say guilty. I didn't have it in me to fight them. And I like to fight and compete, but I couldn't compete with that. That was too much for me.
Yeah. Well, it is a powerful book. Again, Michael Center, former Texas men's tennis coach. He built a national championship team. That team that won the national title, those were all his players who had no facility for most of their time at Texas. And that built a toughness within them that probably helped win the national championship, but they wouldn't have stuck around if it wasn't for you, Michael. And like I said, I'm proud of you for writing the book, because it's not a poor me. It's this is how I got through it. I think this can help others. And I think that's the most powerful, message from this book. And like I said, it's easy read. I got it for $10 on Amazon. But man, I'm proud of you for doing it. And it's great to see you, getting a positive reaction about this book, Breaking Serve. And if people want to hear more of the story or have you speak, go to breakingserve.com.
Yeah. Well, that's exactly what I wanted the message to be. What you just said perfectly. It's not about attacking anyone or woe is me or they did this to me. It's about, this is what happened, but this is how you overcome things. And like I said, the messaging I've been getting from people is made me feel so good about this book at this point. So I appreciate it. I hope people read it. Reach out to me. put a review on Amazon, and we're just going to keep going forward. And if anybody's interested in speaking, I'd love to do the speaking. But this has been a fun project for me, and therapeutic. And I'm happy that it's been well received. Really happy that it's been well received.
Sal wants to know if you're going to be doing any book signings.
I'm doing one a week from Saturday at TCU. I want to come to Austin and do a book signing. I'm trying to figure out a place. So if Sal has a place for me to come, I will be there and do it. One of the things I'm doing is if you buy the book and I do it at Tennis Center, I give you a free clinic. So I'm trying to, people come out and they sign the book, and then we'll do a clinic. But that's my next move, is I'm going to start doing more book signings. So I've got to figure out a place in Austin, but I am going to do one here in Fort Worth.
That's awesome. Michael, really appreciate the time. And again, congratulations. And I hope people will go to breakingserve.com, of course, buy the book on Amazon or wherever you buy your books. And
you can buy the book on that website as well, at breakingserve.com as well.
Yeah,
so it's available. Yeah. Hey, Chip, I just have one question for you though, before I go. Why did you just go for the paperback and not the hardback?
Hey,
was that $10? I just want to know, was that $10? Was that too much for you to go for the hardback?
Yeah, call it out, Michael.
I mean, what the hell?
I got a lot of stuff. I got a lot of stuff in my backpack that I carry around.
My
you know what I'm saying?
Oh my!
I got a laptop. I got notebooks. I got.
All right. I just want to know. I just wanted people to know how it's nice and easy. That's fine. I just curious.
Yeah, if you really, if you're a real man, get the hardcover.
If you're the real, okay, all right. I guess you're not the real man then.
A real reader, get the hardcover. I guess is what we're saying.
All right. Hey, thank you so much. Appreciate you having me on today. I really do.
Thanks. Awesome stuff.
Okay.
Appreciate you.
All right. You guys take care. Bye-bye.
All right. Michael Center. The book is Breaking Serve. Go to breakingserve.com. All right. Let's get a couple mentions in here. Zay, and then we'll get to the commentary. Hey, guys, if you're snoring, it's more than just annoying to the person sleeping next to you. It could be the sign of a serious health issue. And here in Austin, we've got the Sleep Cycle Center. Dr. Chad Denman, who came on the show last week, he's dedicated his life to treating sleep apnea because it killed his own father at the age of 60. So he's got the best technology, the best treatment options. And because of our partnership with Texas Sports Unfiltered and the Sleep Cycle Center, you're going to get $100 off your sleep study if you go to sleepcyclecenters.com and tell them Texas Sports Unfiltered sent you. The treatment options include everything from oral appliances like I have, a mouth guard that holds my lower jaw open so I get that oxygen when I'm sleeping, to surgery. And those sleep studies will detail exactly what level of sleep apnea you have. And if you have an extreme case of sleep apnea, you're waking up several times a night, whether you even know it or not. Sometimes the sleep apnea is bad enough where you realize you're waking up repeatedly throughout the night. That's a scary thing. So go to sleepcyclecenters.com, tell them Texas Sports Unfiltered sent you, and get that $100 off your sleep study. And the person who sleeps next to you will thank you. Hey, and when you're ready for the big screen of your dreams, you know where to go. In Austin, Texas, it's Audio Visual Consultations. Our man, Tom McKay. Love Tom. Great supporter of Texas Sports Unfiltered, but he's the best in the business. I've had AV consultations, put big screens into 3 different houses for me, big screens and surround sound. You know what I'm saying? Get that media room going. But that's what he does. He's the pro. He's the expert. He's going to bring you the best price on big screen TV. So you don't need to go out shopping in the box stores. Just call 255-8678 and let Tom and his crew bring everything to you. It's so simple. They're the experts. They're going to hang that thing like a Picasso. No cables or cords hanging. It's going to be perfect. Just call 255-8678. They also do, of course, full-blown media rooms with the surround sound. They do surveillance, electronic shades, new lighting, you name it. avconsultations.com, 255-8678. And cover 3. I mean, it is the football season, folks. So when you're ready to hang out with your friends, enjoy a great meal, great drinks, great service, and watch your favorite team, like Saturdays, Texas, if you're not going to the game Saturday night, head over to Cover 3 because pretty much every TV will be zeroed in on the Longhorns, and you're hanging out in a restaurant full of fans. You're having a great time. Brunch on the weekends. I love the breakfast quesadilla and the do-it-yourself Bloody Mary bar. You like shrimp in your Bloody Marys? You got it. You like bacon in there? You got it. It is the best Bloody Mary bar in Austin, and you're going to love it. And don't forget, all-night happy hour on Mondays from 3:30 to close. So happy hour every day from 3:30 to 6:30. They have the $7 social hour menu. It's amazing. I mean, you're getting great food at fast food prices. All right. Zay, for the chip shot today.
Before we get to the chip shot, I just got to say this one more time. Love having Coach on. He nicer than me. I'm telling you. Coach just snitched on everybody. I didn't tell him this because he's a sweet man. Wait for him to get off the show. I'm snitching on everybody if I'm Coach. Everybody. They kids, they aunties, they friends, acquaintances. Anyone could have gotten it. Ain't no way. All them folks that know, man. All right, get to the chip shot.
And I'm glad that I was, like I said, I covered this story from beginning to end and couldn't believe it when the indictment came down. You talk about wrong place, wrong time, and the feds going after the guy who set up the thing for the kid to be the basketball manager, and then all hell breaks loose.
So Steve Patterson should have done time for how bad he was as an AD anyway.
Right? The worst athletic director I've ever come across.
Steve Patterson deserved time in more ways than one. So I would have taken him down with me if I was Coach. You know what I'm saying?
Worst. Oh my God. That's another reason, Texas Longhorn Nation, I always say, count your blessings with Chris Del Conte as athletic director, because you see him still responding on Twitter to fans. He came here and 8 years into the job, he's still doing that. It matters. Leadership is top down. And Texas had no leadership under Steve Patterson in the athletic department. It was a disaster. And Michael Center got caught in the middle of it. And I'll just make the chip shot. I'll make it brief. I'll make it. Following up on Michael Center's story, I'm with you, Zay. I mean, I don't know that I could get over. There are still people in the athletic department who let him hang, and he had to move past it. I don't know if I could. And I told him I was proud of him, because instead of just, spiraling down a well that could have cost him his marriage, his relationship with his kids, everything. Because he said, no, I'm going to fight through this. I'm going to coach myself. You heard the story. He's naked in a jail cell, can't breathe, and said, how are you going to get through this? And just started coaching himself. And I think that's why this book is so powerful. I hope people buy it and read it, because he didn't just wallow and lose everything. He fought, and he fought to keep his senses. He fought to keep his, friends and family. He fought through the shame of it. And I told him the whole time, I'm like, look, this is one of those wrong place, wrong time situations that you're going to be able to talk about eventually, and you're going to be able to help others get through tough times. Whether it's people coming out of prison for a crime that they actually committed, or they're just trying to, fight through illness, or fight through, losing a job. Our man Sean Adams always was trying to lift people up, and that's what this book is about. And so, for him to be able to say from championship coach to prison on the cover of the book, shows you that, he's now got perspective on it. And I think that, it's a powerful story. It's one of those like out of the blue stories, because he grew up in Manhattan, Kansas, and was neighbors with DeLoss Dodds when DeLoss was the athletic director at Kansas State. That's how far back they go. DeLoss Dodds remembers when Michael Center was a kid running around with DeLoss's kids in Manhattan, Kansas. And then, Michael ends up being the tennis coach at Texas for DeLoss Dodds. And there's a lot of good stuff in there about that. And, but having really good, strong leadership is so important, aligned leadership. And I give Michael Center a lot of credit for turning a nightmare situation. He can't vote anymore. And I'm not even going to get into all the, stuff about whether people get rehabbed in prison or not. You heard what he had to say about it. And there are stories in there about how he was treated, because he was a media case, and the guards told the prisoners, there's a guy you can go get and make his life hell. And, the guards were in on it too. I mean, it's a hell of a story. So I hope people will head over to breakingserve.com and check out this book, because it is powerful. And here we are. Sean's passing happened 8 years ago. Can't believe it's been 8 years. So yeah, I'll hand it to you, my man, for the right call.
Appreciate it, big dog. For the right call, though, shout out to Covert BK, family owned and operated, the best in the business. We are Covert BK people. Got our Buick Encore GX for my lovely wife. She always says, yo, why you always talk about it being your car on the show? It's my car. Your name's on it, but it's my car. And I'm like, all right, damn. Either way, our car. Get it at Covert BK, just like us. 7 terrific brands to choose from: Ram, Jeep, Dodge, Chrysler, Cadillac, GMC, and Buick. Go to their website at covertbk.com to see all the latest specials and inventory. Nobody beats a Covert deal. Not now, not ever. All right, Chip. So guess which celebrity couple is pregnant? Cardi B and Stefan Diggs. This is Cardi B's 4th child, and I don't know how many Stefan got, but this is the couple's 1st child together. I thought the relationship was over. Clearly, this must have happened before the relationship ended. I don't know if they're back together, but you remember Stefan off season, he was on the boat, he had the powder, he was giving the women the powder. It didn't look good. Cardi was on the boat too, but either way, legendary rapper Cardi B and former NFL Pro Bowler Stefan Diggs, they about to have a baby. So I don't know, man. Like, I hope it works out. Because Cardi, she could be a lot. Stefan Diggs, he could be a lot. We all know our boy B-Rob, the infamous video where our guy Brian Robinson, when he was on the Vikings.
So good.
So good. Interviewing.
You got to find that.
Yeah, somehow we got to find it.
So good.
He gets floating around social media.
What player would you least want dating your sister? And everyone on the Vikings said Stephon Diggs.
Everybody. Which ain't fair, man. Like, come on. Stephon Diggs, he's a nice guy. You know.
Oh my God, listen to you. You don't know nothing about how
he's like a nice guy. I don't know. Come on. That was a young Stephon Diggs. That was probably 9 years ago.
Where are you on this relationship?
I don't know, man.
You feel sorry for the kid?
I do feel sorry for the kid a little bit because I didn't think the relationship was real anyway. I thought they were just having their summer fun. You know what I'm saying? Two good-looking people having a great time, enjoying their money and enjoying summer. I didn't think it was real. So it's real now. A kid makes it real.
Oh,
so
they're together forever now, whether they like it or not.
Together forever. So, you know, Cardi, her baby daddies are interesting people. Offset, the rapper. And then now Stephon Diggs, the NFL player. So
she had 3 kids with Offset?
I think that sounds right. But Offset, that thing went way south. Their relationship, she was dragging Offset through the mud. He was dragging her through the mud. It didn't end pretty at all. I think Offset claimed that she was cheating on him with Stephon a long time ago before they even became exclusive. So a lot of that stuff, very messy. And as y'all know, right call, that's right up my alley. So I hope it works out for the kids' sake. But yeah, shout out to Cardi B and Stephon Diggs. I guess congratulations. Also, Chip, this is one of the more wilder stories you're going to find. Kyler Murray is insane. There's a viral photo that he's posted recently of him wearing a throwback Virginia Tech Mike Vick jersey with a pit bull. Y'all heard it. He's rocking a Mike Vick throwback Virginia Tech jersey, which is pretty fire, by the way. I like the jersey. That's a clean jersey. But he's wearing it while hanging out with his pit bull dog and posing with the dog in the photo. Like, bro, what? Like, what makes him think that this is okay in any way? Because, bruh, like, there's nothing funny as I look at my dog Champ right now. Like, Mike Vick, I love him. I'm glad he's doing well as a coach, wherever the hell he is, that small school in Virginia. But Mike Vick was way in the wrong for what he was doing. Now, is that a part of Black culture? Yes, but that's not the good part of Black culture. Like, I'll never forget when this story came out, and I was shocked because I've never heard of it before. And I was telling my mom and my dad, and they were like, oh, yeah, that goes on in the hood all the time. It's awful. And I'm like, really? Because that was their upbringing, and they knew those types of things went on. But for Kyler Murray to come out and just act like this is okay, like rock the jersey, cool, rock the jersey. The dog doesn't have to be in the photo. You know, you can take photos with your dog without wearing the jersey, Kyler. But you know how I always say those Sooners, man, there's just something about them. They think different.
Aggie and Sooner.
Aggie, more Sooners. Because at least the Aggies usually got some Texan in them. And so does Kyler, Allen Texan kid. We can't claim Kyler right here, though. We can't claim him. Like, this is all Sooner thinking. And, yeah, you're right. He was a former Aggie, too, named after Kyle Field. But, Chip, like, what would make him do this? Like, if I'm the Arizona Cardinals and I see this, like, do I say anything to him? You know what I'm saying? Because Kyler's always been just a weirdo. You know, going back to that Hard Knocks type of show that they had on Amazon where they were doing the behind the scenes in season type thing. They don't show it on Amazon anymore because I think Hard Knocks took the rights of that and they're doing their own season in-season Hard Knocks special now. But you saw Kyler, and he was just weird. He was always playing his games. It was weird how he, communicated with his teammates and stuff. He's just a weird guy. And this is a prime example of how he is.
Yeah, by the way, Michael Vick is the head coach of the Norfolk State Spartans.
That's right. His hometown. He's from Norfolk, Virginia.
What's
their record?
Let's see. Let's see how they're doing. Norfolk State.
That dog already has PTSD. Yeah, I'm telling you, Harold, the dog, they're just weird people.
They are 1-2.
It's tough. It's tough.
Now he was being mentioned as a possible candidate at Virginia Tech, but he has shut down those rumors.
Why? You don't owe Norfolk nothing, Mike. Mike trying to be a good person now. Look at Mike trying to be a good person, trying to be loyal to Norfolk State. He's done enough, in my opinion. Like, I'm taking that Virginia Tech job. If I'm Mike Vick and I'm taking this seriously, yeah, let Norfolk State know, hey, sorry, it's been fun. I brought y'all publicity that y'all didn't think y'all would ever get. No one in their right mind would think somebody in the likes of Mike Vick would ever want that job. So now that job, the value's different now that Mike Vick's been there. So in my opinion, he's done enough. Yeah, I'll let Virginia Tech know, which this could be, Mike agents could be saying, play the nice guy role now. Behind the scenes, let me work. Finish this season, no matter what the season looks like. Mike and them, they could go 3-9. Give Mike Vick the Virginia Tech job.
Hey,
he's done enough.
He's in his first season as a head coach. He ain't getting the Virginia Tech job.
So what?
So what?
So what?
They need to go try and money whip Shane Beamer, right? The question is, would Shane want to take over where his dad is the legend?
Yeah, Shane don't want that no more.
Although it's easier to get into the playoff from the ACC than it is from the SEC.
That's true. That's true.
Could be, but how do you walk away from Lenore's Sellers? What year is Lenore's? Is he draft eligible?
Yeah, he is. Redshirt sophomore.
Okay, well then maybe Shane takes a look, but he's got to make sure that oh God.
Shane has the same lazy right eye as his dad. Yo, man, y'all are wrong.
What did you think of Shane Beamer after watching Any Given Saturday?
I love the guy. I like him, man. He's funny. He loves that community. They embrace him. He's crazy as hell in the right way that I think fits South Carolina. I like Shane Beamer. Now, they got curb stomped this past weekend, but I like Shane Beamer.
Eddie says, center interview was number 1 today. Comments on Kyler Murray, number 2. Chris Bennett says, who's taller, the dog or Kyler Murray?
Damn, that's cold.
Hey, Colt McCoy was the backup quarterback to Kyler in Arizona, of course, when Cliff Kingsbury, proud New Braunfels unicorn.
Yeah. He probably would never say it because Colt McCoy is the ultimate classman. He probably hated Kyler Murray. He probably couldn't stand him.
Yeah. And that's why, that's why Cliff loved Colt, because Colt was a great backup quarterback who was always trying to help out with what he was seeing. And if Kyler, was being truthful, Colt probably helped him become a better pro. like how to approach the day-to-day, be a leader. Who knows? We'll get Colt on. We'll talk about it. But right now, it's time to open up the gym. Bring in the fellas. Patrick Davis, Matt Galatzan. What up, fellas?
Did Colt McCoy get Kyler Murray to stop playing Call of Duty? That's the real question I have.
No. Hell no. You know he ain't going to stop that, Matt. That's a part of him. That's a part of him. Yeah.
That was from that in-season show, right? That's how we learned Tyler loves Call of Duty.
Yeah, he's playing more Call of Duty than he's watching film. It's a great way to be an NFL quarterback. But
yeah, that was in his contract, wasn't it? Like he had a thing in
was.
his contract that was like, if you don't watch this amount of film, then you don't get paid.
Hey, he's still, I mean, that's kind of a minor miracle. He's still a quarterback in the NFL with that kind of stuff.
His contract still, every quarterback has to hate Kyler Murray because he's the first guy that signed after Deshaun Watson. And he signed after the fully guaranteed and then had some BS in his contract. It's like, dude, hold out a little bit longer for all of us. Get the fully guaranteed going. This guy hasn't played. He's played like 3 games the last 8 years, fully guaranteed. You running around.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Appreciate y'all, man. Y'all have a good show.
See you tomorrow.
Later, guys.
See you guys tomorrow. Welcome into Open Gym here on Texas Sports Unfiltered. Myself, Patrick Davis, alongside Matt Galatzan of Texas Longhorns on SI. And, of course, you, the third member of Open Gym. Text line's open 512-222-9328. And on the chat on Facebook, Twitch, X, and on YouTube, where you can find all of that stuff. How you doing on a Wednesday afternoon there, Matt?
Good. I came up to Dallas for a couple days before I go down to Austin for the game. Just, hanging out. It was an easy drive down here, and I'm ready to talk some Arch Manning, some Texas football, some little NFL talk. Maybe we'll get into all of it.
Yeah, we do have our Wednesday power rankings that we do every Wednesday. We'll reset and see who's moving up and who's moving down. The Cowboys won, so I'm sure they're back up in tier 1 now, right?
I don't know about that. I you beat the Giants, but we'll get into it. I still don't feel great about this team.
Tier 1. Let's get into it, Matt. Talking about a little bit of Arch Manning. We'll get into our Sam Houston first look here in about 20-25 minutes. We've also got some questions about Sark. I'm sure he knows as well. What is up, CB? How you doing today on a Wednesday afternoon? It's that hump day. Once we get through this, then it's all downhill. Thursday night football, Friday night football, Saturday all day football, Sunday all day football. This is the day we got to get through, and then we'll be ready for what goes on this weekend. So I'm getting excited for it, but wanted to play a little bit something that came up that we saw today from Joel Klatt. Of course, the Arch Manning news is coming all around right now, and everyone's trying to figure out what's up with Arch Manning, and people are weighing in with their different takes. Joel Klatt had his today. Thought he had a pretty, interesting idea in there because we've been talking about the timing maybe being off and some different pieces of it. Here's Joel Klatt, a piece of what he said today on his show.
Watching Arch, he is too fast right now. He is pressing and he is ahead of the offense. That's the way it looks. Maybe not on every single play, but certainly on several plays. So here's what I see. I see that Arch gets back there and he has time to throw. And then before the picture can develop, you can tell his eyes are already shifting from the first place he's looking to the second place he's looking. So he's going from 1 to 2 before the picture ever materializes. He's ahead of the timing of the offense. Well, when that happens, typically you lose your balance, you lose your pocket presence, your eyes go down because you're anticipating that the clock is moving too fast. So your eyes go down, your pocket awareness crumbles, you miss open wide receivers. And when you do let go of the football, you're moving so fast in your own mind, you typically throw those balls short. Why? Because you jump at them. Your front foot gets out just a little bit too high. You jump at the throw and the ball tends to nose down and be short. If you're looking at the bulk of the incompletions for Arch Manning so far, they are underthrown. A couple of them woefully, going back to that game against Ohio State, and then several more in the last couple of games. Even when he's just trying to throw a quick hitter on the outside, it's too far low and away. Everything is trending down and away from the wide receivers. Very few passes from Arch so far this year have been in rhythm, in balance, and in the frame of the wide receiver. That's what's going on right now.
There's Joel Klatt on his show. You can go check that out on YouTube, the Joel Klatt Show. But his problem is not that he's not processing things fast enough. It is that he's processing things and trying to rush through them so as not to get caught. And I think there definitely is pieces of that. Now, I think he has been slow at times as well. And there's, it is kind of that mismatch. But it does go back to the point that his internal clock is wrong, and his internal clock has got sped up, and part of that I think was Ohio State being week 1, and Ohio State, it is a pressure packed situation, and everything on him, instead of going 1, 2, 3, he goes 1, 2, 3, and now you are completely off time because you think this ball has to be out in a second and a half. Or 2 seconds. Yeah, I got to get the ball out of my hands. And you really got 3.5 seconds to get that ball out, maybe 4 if your offensive line holds. And he's just going so fast that he's already on read 3 before read 1 is even open. And he's just not able to make those reads right now. It is one of those issues that we've kind of talked about in the Arch world, Matt, that it's timing is everything in football. And for Arch Manning, he just seems like he is – his emotions are getting the best of him in these moments.
Yeah, I mean, this is probably the best explanation that I've heard that makes the most sense for why Arch is struggling so far. And the shoulder injury rumors and the all the different stuff that we've heard. This is the one that holds the most water to me, and I'll tell you why. Because it makes the most sense logically. And what I mean by that is the pressure that was put on him coming into this season to be this overwhelmingly amazing quarterback that's going to set the college football world on fire. He's always looking to make exciting plays, number one, which is causing him to not really read the entire defense as methodically as he should. If something's not open, he's like, oh, I got to go somewhere else. Whereas in reality, it sounds like what he needs to be doing. And Joel Klatt knows the quarterback position as well as anybody else. He played it at Colorado. Very, very smart guy. He needs to be more patient and trusting that his receivers are going to get open rather than if something's not there immediately, like way too fast, moving on to your next option before you give the other guy a chance to make a play. And there was definitely some of that in the last game for sure, especially when he has guys, wide open and what should be easy throws. He's still pressing so hard to make that pass quickly that his accuracy and his mechanics are thrown way off because of it. I agree with you. There has been other situations where he has maybe focused a little too long on a guy, or where he's been a little bit slow in terms of getting the ball to someone when he should. That said, this is overwhelmingly, I think, the biggest issue with him so far because he's pressing so hard because he wants to be good. He wants to make explosive plays. He wants to create exciting things in the passing game and get the crowd going and get into a rhythm. And I think what he needs to understand and what Joel Klatt is saying here is that if you can just be patient and trust your guys, they're going to be open. We saw in the All-22 breakdown that he had guys open everywhere. If he can trust those guys to get open and be, just wait another half a second before you move on to your next read, those plays are going to come. And that will allow you to be more mechanically sound and get the football into their numbers rather than, Ryan Wingo having to jump 3 feet in the air to catch a pass or whatever the case may be. So he I agree here, the dog. He puts on this persona being a chill dude and not being too affected by all the pressure, when in reality, you can see on the football field that he's affected by the pressure, and it's affecting his game. The good news is, I'm sorry for rambling on here for so long, but the good news is this is extremely fixable.
Yes.
This is something that he can be coached out of, and it could happen at any time. Clapp went on to say, and I agree with him completely, that at a certain point, whether it could be this week, or it could be against Florida, or it could be against Oklahoma, whenever it comes, that moment where he figures out, oh, if I just do this, everything else is going to come, he's going to be fine from that point forward. And I think that he has a really, really good opportunity to get that figured out this week, because Sam Houston's pass defense is atrocious, and he's going to have plenty of opportunities to get that going. But it's not a situation like in, let's say, Florida, where everything is just going wrong. You're throwing 5 interceptions in a game. You don't have the skill position guys helping you out. Or other spots where quarterbacks are struggling, because like we've said yesterday, it's not just Arch. So this is an extremely fixable problem, and it's something that once he gets figured out, he's going to be maybe not the best quarterback of all time, but he's going to still end up being pretty dang good.
Well, that's when we'll see who Arch Manning is.
Yeah.
Like, that's when we'll finally get to see who Arch Manning is. And it's the world of, if that's the case, if this is really what it is, then there's 2 more things you got to figure out, which is he's got to figure out actual timing, and in his brain, get the clock down. We've seen the YouTube videos or the TikToks or whatever else they're doing of, social media people going up to players and going, hit 10 seconds. And you're supposed to hit stop on the stopwatch closest to 10 seconds. Quarterbacks are always really, really good at this, because you have to be, as a quarterback, have a really good metronome in your head. So whatever that is for him to figure out that metronome, that's it. And then the other piece is when you miss that on a play, how do you readjust back? And you can just now, instead of you having to go to the sideline for it, or you're going to have to go to the tunnel and go back for halftime. Now it is, I can do it in the huddle. As soon as that throw comes out of my head, I throw it out of my hand, and I know I beefed it. 3 deep breaths, turn around, count right again. All right, now we're back into it right before we go to that next play. Look at the clock. Count in your head with the play clock. Go, okay, cool, we're good. I'm watching the clock go right now. We're good to go. I know the clock doesn't go after incompletions, but the play clock would.
The play clock does, yeah.
But so you have all that, but this really does bring me back to, experience in radio. And one of the things about radio, and this is all like a extremely common, if not implicitly 99% of people, when they first start doing radio, when they first come into the studio and they start doing things, they'll come in and they'll be calm, cool, and collected, talking to you before you go on air. Man, it's great to see you. Yeah, we're gonna have a great thing. We just got like 4 or 5 things to hit. They've done their research, they've done their prep, they've got things written out in front of them. And the second that on air light hits, and the person who has experience doing it comes out and goes, "Welcome to the show, blah, 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 and here today," and they hand it off and they go, "What do you think about this?" The other person will rattle off all 5 points that is supposed to be the next 30 minutes of the show in about 14 seconds. They'll get through everything, stammering, just trying to get through those next couple minutes, because they don't, in their head, they're just like, I have to get to it. There's dead air. I'm going so slow. And you learn through time to slow down a little bit more and slow down a little bit more. And for Arch, it's all it is. It's the difference of, in practice, the on-air light's not on. And then he gets the game. Now there's TVs. Now there's people in the stands. Now there's a lot of people ready to boo at this point. When can he develop into the, okay, it doesn't matter. None of this matters. I just got to go do my game and everything else will come apart or come along. I get that I have to talk to the media 3 times a week, that the first person when the announcers go, we want to talk to somebody, it's going to be me. I got to, every single person, and my agent's calling me to ask me to do stuff, and my parents are calling me, my uncles are calling me, and everyone's trying to get a hold of me. I get that, but I just have to kind of roll with that. I think that is another piece that it literally just comes with time. And so it is a piece. So if you go, okay, it's just literally an internal clock, that it's just the issue that when as soon as that ball snapped, he no longer has an idea of what's happening in time anymore until he starts to race. That's an extremely fixable issue, much more than mechanics, much more than inaccuracy or anything else. And a thing like that can build upon itself. Again, in radio, if you mess up your first 3 words in a statement and you're not experienced at all, you will mess up your next 20. Like it just goes downhill very quickly. And that's all that Arch seems to be going through. So I love the take from Joel Klatt, because it is something of, I can understand very easily when the on-air light goes on, a lot of people tense up and speed up. And in that, the way he's been looking and missing open guys because he's waiting for it to open. And for him, it's supposed to take a second and a half. And that second and a half to him feels like 2 seconds, and it's been less than 1. So once he gets that clock back, hopefully that will be in the near future.
Yeah, and I think the one of the best examples of this from the game on Saturday against UTEP was that 4th and 5 with Ryan Wingo. He had the time. He should have waited another second, and then he would have had Ryan Wingo screaming across the middle of the field wide open. He could have set his feet. He could have hit him in the numbers. Instead, he feels rushed. Wingo isn't quite open yet, and he does this like weird off-platform thing to try and get his feet back under him when he does, like, as soon as he sees the opportunity. So yeah, I agree. It's all fixable. It's not a play calling issue. It's not a skill position talent issue. It's not really much of an offensive line issue, especially in the passing game. They've been pretty good in pass protection. The running game has been the run blocking has been the issue with the offensive line. It's just a young quarterback getting used to the speed of college football. That's really what it boils down to. And he even had problems with this last season. He just, I think he got lucky a few times, but you saw against ULM early in the game, the interception that he threw. Other opportunities there that, he wasn't perfect in those games. People look back and look at the stats and watch the highlights, and they're like, oh my God, this guy is the next coming of, John Elway. He's amazing. This is incredible. And when you really go back and watch those games, yeah, he makes a bunch of plays, but he also makes a bunch of mistakes. And those are just things that you learn that help you learn as you go. And that's why, replacing Quinn Ewers with him last season was never going to be an option, because Quinn already knew how to do all of these things. He knew exactly when Matthew Golden was going to break across the middle or get past the safety or whatever the case. And he knew exactly when he needed to start his motion to get rid of the football and line it up exactly with when that was going to take place. And Arch just needs some games to figure that out. And it sucks that you had to come out in your first game, have to be against Ohio State, so really don't have an opportunity to catch your breath. But, this is his third opportunity to catch his breath. And if he does well this week, I think even though it's a really bad pass defense, I think that the meat and potatoes of the situation, the bones of the situation are he's figuring out the timing. And that's what the most important thing is. So,
yeah. It's going to be a work in progress once it gets going, because it's all right. Now deal with that under pressure. Deal with that in Athens, Georgia.
Lucky that game's in November.
I know, but you're still like, go play that game play that game, in Gainesville. Do that while you didn't get a score the last 3 or 4 times down the field. Still have that timing. That's going to take a little while to get where he's really always there. But at the end of the day, as long as we can get through that first part, then the progress has started, and now we know we're going to get better and better. And Rastaman, we have running backs. I keep hearing about running back worries because there are injuries at some point. But in the reality of it all, CJ Baxter and Trey Wisner played one game together. They combine for 120 yards, average like 4.5 yards per carry between them. I think they'll be fine once we get going. Christian Clark, James Simon, and Jarrett Gibson are all going to be playing better as the season goes on. The bigger issue is that interior offensive line. They are not like the Cowboys at all. So they are not giving you openings to go get big plays on the thing. But he has running backs. That I'm not really worried about. They just haven't played together. And I mean, now CJ Baxter's out. We don't know if Trey Weiser's going to be there. But we had one game with both of them. We had one game with CJ Baxter, and then we had one game with neither of them. None of them were typical, like really terrible running games, but you want to see explosive plays. You want to see all those things, and those come from getting bigger holes. And I know there's some people that are like, they're not hitting the holes right. The holes aren't really there. Like, you go back and watch. It's not like, oh, there's this hole and he's just missing it. It's more that they're kind of trying to create it and it's already filled. And so being able to actually seal those off, get them in there, not get a hand on you, not let somebody else behind that's, so the hole's there, but you're already getting, someone grabbed you. So now the hole closes a little bit more. That's going to be the issue for this Texas team more, I think, is that offensive line growing in the middle, maybe finding some people that are going to be able to play it. We'll see it with the Cole Hudson injury. What are they going to be able to do? How are they going to move that around? Does that help them, hurt them? What they do in that interior offensive line. But that for me is kind of that it's they actually have really good running backs. It's the question of can they make it work? But that for me is, I mean, that'll help out too. Is like once Arch completes some passes too, that run game will open up a lot more as well. But people can be off on it a little bit more because they're like, play man, he ain't hitting anybody.
Yeah. The thing with the running backs is like when you have two elite running backs like CJ Baxter and Trey Wisner, it kind of can help, at least to a certain degree, mask the deficiencies of the interior of the offensive line because they're either running through people or they're making people miss. Whereas, Jarrett Gibson, he did a pretty good job of that against San Jose State. It's a lot harder for the younger running backs to do those things because, I mean, CJ Baxter and Trey Wisner are just really good at what they do. I'm really interested to see what Connor Robertson does at center this week. I assume he's going to get the start in place of Cole Hudson, which I think he has a really good opportunity in front of him because Cole Hudson has been very inconsistent, and I don't think that he's necessarily become comfortable in the center position. I think he's more suited to be a guard probably. And Connor Stroh hasn't been great either. That entire interior has been very inconsistent in their run blocking, letting guys through. So when you have that kind of a situation, it's like, okay, we can put 6 guys in the box and we can still get through and stop your running game. And we can leave all these other guys in pass coverage. Whereas if you get the interior of that offensive line, just even, we talk about with the Houston Texans, if that offensive line can just be okay, they're going to have a lot better of an opportunity, even though their play calling kind of sucks right now. Yeah. But if you get the interior of the Texas offensive line just being pretty good, not great, just pretty good in their run blocking, then it's gonna open up holes. It's gonna open up a whole lot of other opportunities for this offense, and it's gonna make Arch's life a lot easier. I would assume that Sark said that they're going to get back some of those guys this week, which I'm sure we'll talk about later. But hopefully one of those guys is Trey Wisner, and hopefully he's able to kind of right the ship there at running back and in the running game a little bit more than some of these younger guys could. But that's also a major part of what's been wrong with this offense. Like, obviously the microscope is on Arch Manning, but you got to be able to run the ball at a respectable clip. And, under 3 or under 4 yards per carry against UTEP is not a respectable clip. So hopefully they get that figured out. That'll open things up a little bit more. Maybe take an extra guy into the box as opposed to having, Arch having to throw against 5 or 6 guys every time he drops back to pass.
Yeah, no, I'm with you on that. And it's at the end of the day, there's a lot of positives still on this offense. And once it's kind of like having a beautiful room, but the door's locked. It just feels like once we get Arch Manning comfortable, then the door opens. And now we get all the toys that we have inside that room. We get our Ryan Wingo and DeAndre Moore, these young freshmen. Dalen McCutcheon maybe gets in there a little bit more. You get to use the running backs. They've got a ton of tight ends they want to use as well. So all the toys are there. We just have to get into the room. And if you can't throw the ball, it just makes it so much harder to run the ball because, again, they're just going to kind of drop back, not really worry about stopping the pass as much because you're just not hitting anything. And if you start to hit it, they can change up defenses, but they're going to be able to blitz a lot more, and they're going to be able to come in and load up in the box and kind of just try and take out that run game.
Yeah, absolutely. And how about like getting Emmett Mosley back too? Wouldn't that be great?
Yeah, that'd be great.
Like having another, at least somewhat experienced receiver getting out there and being able to be in the right place at the right time. I mean, Parker Livingston's been great, but that's about it. So you want to get another talented guy out there. So
yeah,
that'll help. There's still a lot more to be positive about on this offense, I think, in the long term than there is to be negative about, because your issues are all extremely fixable. It's all timing. Yeah. It's all like the connective tissue of the offense rather than a connective tissue in the execution of the offense rather than like, oh, we just don't have guys.
Yeah.
Whereas like a lot of these quarterbacks that are struggling is because they just don't have guys around them. And it's really hard. And Texas has that. So they'll get it figured out sooner than later, I think.
No, I'm with you. Let's get into a little UTEP talk. We said about 25 minutes. Let's hit about a little UTEP, or sorry, not UTEP, Sam Houston talk, and start to look at this team for the first time. I started doing a little bit of research this morning, a little bit more research on them this morning, and kind of going around. And this is a Sam Houston team to not lose to because there's not a lot going on there. Mm-hmm. The nicest thing I can say is that it seems like their run defense isn't terrible.
That's because people are throwing all over them, probably.
I get it, but if you want me to say the nicest thing I can say about them right now,
yeah,
that might be it. They are getting thrown all over. We saw Hawaii threw for 294 against them. UNLV threw for 249 against them. And in the first game of the season, that was the big one. Maverick McIver in Western Kentucky threw for 401 in that game. 3 touchdowns there. You get 2 touchdowns in UNLV and another 3 touchdowns in Hawaii. So they're able to move that. These are teams that may not be the best in the world at passing. They're able to get out there, get some plays. You see a 47-yarder allowed in that Hawaii game. You get a 49-yarder, a 32-yarder allowed against UNLV. And in Western Kentucky, a 55 and a 48-yarder. A pretty explosive plays allowed in all 3 of their games so far this year. They are 0-3 as well. So this is a team that you'd like to be able to attack through the air.
Mm-hmm.
Now, whether that's too much pressure again on Arch Manning, don't tell it. Just, hey, no, we're just going to go out there and be fine. Not even worry about it. You'll be able to get it done. But this is one of those places where there will be guys open. You will have the talent and ability to go up and make plays in single coverage. I would assume they're going to drop guys back because that's pretty much what everybody's been doing against Texas to try and limit the explosive plays, try and make them put together drives and not get penalties. So I would assume they will drop back a little bit more with the safeties because that is kind of the Sark 101 game plan against is do not let them have big plays. Make them earn it underneath. And they don't want to do that. They want to have explosive plays. So take away what they like to do most.
Yeah, and I think that's a pretty easy thing to overcome if you're Texas against a Sam Houston State, because to make explosive plays, all you really got to do is get the ball in the hands of your explosive playmakers, and they should be able to do their work, which I think is something that maybe, obviously I'm not sitting there, while they're creating the game plan or anything like that, but it seems to me that kind of got a little bit lost in the sauce, so to speak, in terms of like, oh, we have to pass the ball downfield to get explosive plays in the passing game. When, like, if Ryan Wingo makes a guy miss on that screen pass, he goes for 25 yards. So I think that those opportunities are going to be there. But just like going down the Sam Houston State passing ranks, this is one of the worst pass defenses I've ever seen statistically through 3 games.
Yeah.
133rd in pass defense overall, 113th in passing efficiency defense, 115th in completion percentage allowed, which I think is 67.9% or something around there. 131st in passing touchdowns allowed, 119th or worse in passes of 10, 20, 30, and 40-plus yard completions allowed. That's wildly bad. Wildly bad. And then, you talk about their run defense being the one thing that you could be positive about. They're still like 66 in the country in run defense, and, give up 100 and let me make sure I'm getting this right, 127.7 yards per game.
Yeah.
So that's not exactly, locked down either.
No,
so your offense should be able to do anything that you want to in this game, regardless of how you get the ball into your playmakers' hands. If you just get it there, then they should be able to do their work.
That's pretty much the concept here, is that this is the worst defense you have played. There isn't really that redeeming factor. Like, UTEP wasn't a great defense, but they were a good tackle for loss and sack defense. That's what they do really, really well. They attack behind the line, and they did that against Texas. I don't think Sam Houston has that kind of X factor ability on this defense. So I would imagine they're going to try and not get burned. And that's right where Matt's right. That's where you have to go to Arch Manning and tell him, do not try and throw into double coverage downfield. Just take what's there. Take what's there over and over and over again. And you should be able to have this offensive line, as much as they're not holding up in the run game, they're being all right in the pass game, unless, you get exotic coverages. Exotic blitzes. I'm not sure they're going to see an exotic blitz. Not sure how many of those are going to come at you. You should be able to be pretty confident in that. And Arches has shown that he's pretty elusive in the pocket, that he's not just standing there like a stone and getting hit. So I think you're able to get out there, get him a little bit of time, and just get somebody in the flat, get somebody 5 yards. And I know he's not been accurate in that, but he needs to get accurate in that. And the only way is you kind of have to keep dialing it up. I know that 10 incompletions in a row hit on him some more, but I think the other side of pretending that he can't hit a 7-yarder, but don't worry, let's chunk it downfield, that's going to work out when he's not really hitting those either.
Yeah, I mean, I think that the game plan for Arch, on top of, well, first of all, to your point, you're not going to get better at something by avoiding it.
Yes.
So, like, to Patrick's point, they need to call those things up so that he gets more used to them and he gets more reps at them and he gets better at them, which is exactly what they should do. But I think that one thing that Arch needs to do going forward is, if the play's not there, if your timing is where it's supposed to be and the play's still not there, for right now, this early in your career, and especially against this team, for one, if your first read isn't there, maybe you can make your second, and if that's not there either, just run.
Yeah.
Just get 5 yards and slide. Or, throw the ball away. Like, instead of doing that thing that he did on 4th and 5, where he runs to the left and then runs back across and then throws across the middle, or that thing he did against San Jose State where he held on to it for way too long and he had an alley to run with the ball and he was just like, no, I'm going to stay here. And then he threw it into double coverage and it got picked. Just make a read. If it's not there, take off.
Well, and so what I thought he did that the best in was at the end of the first half, when he basically didn't have time. They're trying to score. And so he knows I either have to throw it away or get in a run. There is no time anymore. And once you took away the ability of time from him, he made the read, wasn't there, ran in the end zone, got a touchdown. And instead of waiting like he'd been doing, he just got rid of it and ran in and just said, nope, no throw, run in. It's that the path is there. You have to have that philosophy more. And he is holding it too often because he is trained to be a really good quarterback. And those really good quarterbacks have the ability to make something happen later in the clock. The problem is, if you've already missed 2 open guys, what makes you think you're going to see it if you're running around?
Mm-hmm.
And so I know you're doing what you think Like, this is what Patrick Mahomes does. But Patrick Mahomes didn't miss an open guy early. He is trying to find somebody and get somebody open later in the clock. So you just have to figure those out. Back to Sam Houston. When we talk about their offense, there's not really much to know what's going to be coming, because we can say they've already played 3 different quarterbacks. Not by choice either, by injury. They have played 3 different quarterbacks already. You saw Hunter Watson play week 1. You saw him get hurt in week 2, and Mabry Matower came in week 2, and then Landon Locke comes in when Matower gets hurt in week 3. I believe Mabry Matower is okay. I believe he's the only one that I didn't see on an injury report. But I think Landon Locke and Hunter Watson are both listed as questionable for this game. So we don't know who the starting quarterback is, and we probably won't know who the starting quarterback is for Sam Houston. It could be 3 different guys, and Hunter Watson can run the ball a little bit. Landon, if we go to Mabry Matower, he's probably not going to run as much.
No,
and Landon Locke's not going to run either. So it depends. If you get Hunter Watson, he's going to run the ball a little bit more for you. So there's not really much to know about the quarterback. Maybe we'll get some clarity on that before it comes. I doubt it, because why would you tell Texas what you're going to do if you don't have to? There is no injury reports. We'll get to injury reports here in a minute, because there is another story about that was happening. But the injury reports, since they don't have to have them for non-conference, we're not really going to know who is going to be playing quarterback. The run game, they've had effective run games if you just leave out the big runs. Then they don't. If you take away the big runs, they have not had any effective running either. They're basically, I think the best they've done is like 3.5 yards per carry for a player once you take out their 40, 50-yard run. So they do have explosive playability against some of these other teams. You don't figure that's against Texas, but none of these guys are consistently running for 2, 3, 4 yards a carry. They are getting stopped at the line of scrimmage a lot for Sam Houston as well. So offensively, quarterback-wise, we don't really know if it is Hunter. That's your best shot of having them be able to move the ball, really, because he is somebody that can extend a play. Outside of that, again, you're talking about the second and third string quarterback on a team that has only been an FBS school for 3 years now.
Yeah.
So they don't necessarily have all the players lined up.
Yeah, I mean, maybe Matower. I think I've talked about this before. I was in an Elite 11 regional in Houston, and I believe he's from the Woodlands, and he was at that camp, and his handler came up and was like, you really need to watch this kid. He's the next Trevor Lawrence. And I was like, we were like, oh, okay, we're going to keep an eye on this guy. And he was ass. And he ended up having a pretty good high school career. I just don't think he had his best day that day. He ended up having a pretty good high school career, signed with Wisconsin, wasn't going to get the job at Wisconsin. So he transferred to Sam Houston. So like Wisconsin thought he was good enough to be a D1 starter. So at least you have that. But he's a bit of a statue. He's not gonna run the ball on you like some of these other guys would. I mean, Hunter Watson had a 55-yard run. He has a 55-yard run to his name this year. So, he might be able to do something like that. I don't think maybe Matower is going to do that. He's certainly never seen an environment like he's going to see. I would assume that somebody's going to ask Phil Longo who the starting quarterback is going to be. He's going to say, we'll see on Saturday.
Yeah.
For Texas's sake, which I don't really think it matters, but for Texas's sake, I hope it's Mabry Matower, because he's the one that is the most one-dimensional and the one that's more prone to making mistakes. But the offense is that Phil Longo runs is also extremely simplistic. So I don't think it's going to be something that Texas is like. It's an offense where Phil Longo used to be the offensive coordinator at Ole Miss. So I used to watch those offenses all the time, obviously. And they were very Jekyll and Hyde. So either they run six, like at least at Ole Miss, I don't know if he's still doing it this way, but he also did it in North Carolina, so I would assume he's still doing it the same way. But they only had like, I think 17 or 16 plays that they ran total. And the majority of what the receivers were doing were option routes. And the quarterback like basically just had to know, okay, all 4 of my receivers have options on their routes. So I just need to make sure that I'm in the right place at the right time, or I'm going to the right place at the right time, hoping that we have that connection. Those offenses were very Jekyll and Hyde in the sense that like either you put up 63 points in a game and threw for 400 yards, or you got shut out or damn near close to it because the defense figured it out. And the majority of the offenses that Ole Miss faced during that time that were good to elite defenses were able to shut it down fairly simply. And that's when they had receivers like A.J. Brown, DK Metcalf, and Elijah Moore all on the same team. Those are all NFL receivers, and they couldn't get stuff going during that time. So because of the way that offense is structured. So I feel like PK is going to, he did work for Mac at UNC CB.
Yeah.
He is going to spread things out and throw the ball a lot. They do like to run the ball too, but it's an offense where like it's simple enough to where if PK can just kind of hone in on the details and have guys in the right spot, they're going to be fine. It's a very, very weird offense. I'll put it that way.
You think Sark does call up Mac Brown this week? At least a phone call. Hey, Mac, anything I need to know about Phil? Anything to get in his head?
I don't know if Sark calls Mac, but I'm pretty sure Mac's going to like kind of poke his head in Sark's office and be like, "Hey, you want to know something?" And he'll be like, "Oh yeah, absolutely." And he'll take some notes or whatever. But I'm sure that like that. I don't even know if that's crossed Sark's mind, but I'm sure Mac is going to give him some tidbits for sure.
Yeah, we'll see if Mac's down there, walks out on the field at any point, goes over and talks to Phil for a minute. Hey, buddy, how's it going? That North Carolina, those guys are real jerks up there.
Yeah. Hey, Phil, I appreciate you coming down to Austin. I gave them your entire 17-play playbook already, so just be prepared.
I gave your 17-page playbook, and they were like, "Yeah, we know. We're aware. We're aware of all of these plays." So at the end of the day, this is a Sam Houston team that really is the probably your best opponent to get let's get on track. Now, this is an opponent that you maybe prefer to have this opponent somewhere else in the schedule and like maybe take this one a little bit easier somewhere else and then ramp yourself up for Florida. This Texas offense is not playing well enough. So this may be the breakout game of let's just start to feel better about ourselves for Texas. Because it's either that or it's going to be a really, really long bye week for this Texas offense. Because if you're not able to put up more than 5 touchdowns against this Sam Houston team, if you're 6 for 10 on 4th down, 5 for 10 on 4th down, I think at the end of the week, you're going to go like, oh yeah, we got to figure out a lot of things before we get to Florida. We got to figure out a lot of things. I also want to pose this question to the chat, to the text line as well. I want to pose this question because of the injuries. And we've talked a lot about the leadership on this offense as well, and the veteran leadership. And that Trey Wisner not being there is probably having an impact. And DeAndre Moore not being there is probably having an impact on getting this really, really young offense to get going. Now, Sark, I know, is preparing for a long run in the playoffs still. But there is this line between that of Sark, if you continue to prepare for a playoff series and you don't get your team ready because you're being too protective early, so you're not ready, there is no playoff to be prepared for. And now you have rested your players in a 12-game season because you didn't win anything, because you guys weren't ready to get to Florida. And then you go to Florida and Oklahoma and you're not ready. And is there a point where Sark is maybe being a little too safe early on because he thought this team was going to be further along than it is. Now the defense is there. I'll give him that, but the offense is not close. And I mean, maybe if Arch figures it out, it'll all of a sudden overnight, it's a night and day thing. But I there's a little bit of me. It's like, Sark, I need you to play some guys. I get you don't want him to get dinged up and you don't want to get him to hurt. I don't even need you to play him a ton, but I need you to get this offense going. So you're going to have to put, if DeAndre Moore and Trey Wisner are okay, and they're okay to play. You just don't want him to get dinged up more. You're just playing on the side of safety. I don't know if you have that place. I mean, so let me know, and I'm going to ask Matt this too, but let me know if you think play your players or play it safe. I'm a little bit more on how bad this offense has been. You're going to put some guys back out there.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think you got to get the guys all the reps and get them in line and stop playing it safe. I couldn't agree with you more. It's this offense, it's really just the offense. This offense is too far behind to be being, cautious and vanilla or whatever you want to call it. So they absolutely need to do those things. I couldn't agree with you more. CB, in terms of speed on offense, I think this is one of the things that gets a little bit misconstrued about this offense. I think there's a ton of speed on this offense.
I do too.
Parker Livingston's a sub 4.4 guy. Ryan Wingo's a 4.3 guy. He's incredibly fast. DeAndre Moore is deceptively fast. I mean, I know it's not the fastest guy at the NFL Combine like Matthew Golden or Jaden Blue or whatever, but there is speed on this offense. Trey Wisner isn't the fastest guy. CJ Baxter's got some speed to him. Christian Clark's got speed. James Simon, I think I heard, I think it was Anwar Richardson, or maybe it was CJ Vogel. One of the guys in the press box on Saturday against UTEP was saying James Simon is the fastest guy with the ball in his hands
I've heard that.
on this football team. So there is a lot of speed, but I think you just have to get as many guys involved as you can. I get that you don't necessarily want to play some of these freshmen at wide receiver, but I think they need to be ready to go.
Yeah, because again,
Everybody
that's
needs
your
to be ready
speed.
to go.
There is speed over there on that wide receiver core. They're just really, really young. I get it.
Is insanely fast.
Yeah, and that's the thing is like, can Khalid Lockett figure things out and at some point be a reference? Can James Simon, does he get more reps this week? I think we saw James Simon get a lot because Sark knows this may be my boutique back. You mentioned Jaden Blue there. He had Keelan Robinson before that. And those backs of guys that I can trust to maybe make an explosive play, I think that may be Simon that he likes to use kind of in that Keelan Robinson role. The difference was he really, really trusted Keelan Robinson. Maybe more than anybody else on that team, he trusted Keelan Robinson. And he does not have that with a true freshman in James Simon. But that is a piece for me of the James Simon. I think he is somebody that we saw him get so many reps, more than Christian Clark, which I get Christian Clark coming off an injury. So maybe that plays into it a little bit more of why he didn't play him as much last week. He played enough snaps. He just didn't get as many carries, let's say. But James Simon, I think you could use in that more Jaden Blue. Khalid Lockett is a guy that I think adds speed. Ryan Wingo's got plenty of speed. He just doesn't have the ball in his hands. But we can see what he can do when he gets it going. So there's speed there. The problem is, again, everybody's not connected. So, like, Sark's entire offense is built on catching the ball while you're moving. And so you can get to top speed as fast as possible. But Arch isn't hitting guys. So they're having to jump or go down or whatever else. So the top speed doesn't come there. They get hit before they get into top speed. If Arch starts hitting guys, we'll see that speed start to come over. And I'll say, for as far as a false sense of release or consonant, I don't care anymore. I don't care anymore. Like, you have to figure out a way to make this. If you score 70, awesome. Because the alternative is scoring 30 again. Scoring 28, 30. And we all know at Florida, it's going to be 7-10. And whoever kicks that field goal wins the game. And that's not a game I want to watch.
Yeah. My perspective on this question, I think it's a great question, CB, and I spoke a little bit about it earlier in the show, but I think that it depends on the manner of the good game. And what I mean by that is Arch on time?
Oh yeah.
And are those things figured out, or is it a situation where Arch just like runs if Arch just runs the ball 15 times for 150 yards and scores 4 touchdowns and you get 2 pick sixes and then the score is 42-0 and like it gets inflated and kind of in that way and the passing game is still off, then that won't be confident at all. But if it's a situation where Arch is accurate and he's making and he's on time with his reads and his footwork is good and the receivers are in the right place and he's hitting them in stride, like those are the things that you have to look at rather than, it's more about where they catch the football, where the football is located when they catch it, and the timing of when the throw is getting there, as opposed to, if the play goes for 50 yards or 60 yards or 15 yards, in my opinion. Those are the things that if you see those things happening, then I think you can be a little bit more confident going into Florida. But then, the recipe is going to completely change when you get to Florida because those defensive players are a hell of a lot more talented than what they have on Sam Houston. Even though Florida's a disaster right now, they have a lot of good athletes and a lot of good players.
Yes.
So that would be my thought process behind it.
I mean, they still slowed down that LSU offense, which I know they have their own issues at LSU, but they slowed that down to 20 points. And Garrett Nussmeier's been playing better than Arch Manning, so we can put that there. And for this one, Joe, I think they have for the last 2 or 3. I don't know about Owens. I think KJ Lacey was going to come in before Owens. I could see that. I don't know how much Trey Owens has been kind of in the game plan. Caldwell's supposed to be getting more reps. Every week Stark says it now. Well, if you want those guys to play, don't suck. There's a reason they're not getting in, is because I'm trying to make sure you figure this out and we get something going. But I can't pull y'all out. If you score 3 touchdowns, I can't pull you. Oh, 3 touchdowns against UTEP. What a blowout. Let's put in the backups. Because if they throw a pick 6, because they're not ready, all of a sudden now you got to put Arch back in the game, and then you don't know if he's going to be good or not. So I all those pieces, I think they've been planning to put in, but I think it's probably Lacey above Owens, at least of kind of what we've seen the guys warming up a little bit more. He could go back to Owens. It also, I think, depends on who does well in that week of practice.
Yeah, I mean, I think that ideally KJ Lacey is like the guy that my dogs are just going crazy over here. Ideally, KJ Lacey is the guy that you would like to be your backup by the end of the year, I think, because he provides the most big playability. He's the most talented guy of the group. He's just the youngest guy of the group. And I thought it was a little bit telling, and maybe I was reading too much into it. But when we were watching warmups on the sideline, when guys were getting ready to go into the game in place of Arch, Lacey was warming up, Caldwell was warming up, and Owens was just nowhere. So I don't know if that was maybe he's nursing an injury, maybe
is he wincing
on the depth chart.
If he's wincing, he's injured. We know this.
Yeah, of course. So I don't know if that's a situation where somebody's passed him or maybe or whatever the case may be. It just kind of seems like right now Caldwell's number 2, Lacey's number 3, and Owens is number 4. And I don't know what that means in week 3. It'll be more telling what happens in week 10 if they get a backup in whatever week that is. I don't know if it's Georgia or whatever. I'm just later on in the season. But it'll be interesting to watch because, there's a guy named Diabell coming in next year. And
which by the way, how bad's that injury he's got? Minor surgery, right?
Yeah, I think it was a minor procedure, and he just decided to shut it down.
Yeah,
I'd have to look more into it, but Diabell's coming in next year, and one of the guys in that QB room. I mean, Matthew Caldwell is going to be gone, but one of the other guys in that QB room is not going to be around, and I would assume that KJ Lacey has a better chance of sticking around than Trey Owens.
Yeah, that'd be my guess too. What we've seen, and yes, Caldwell is number 2 today. Sark just trust him more. The fact that KJ Lacey didn't win that job would tell you that he's gonna that it'll be that kind of case. So if you don't win that job, now he's like, all right, Caldwell's got to get it. So I think he wants to get KJ Lacey reps because anything can happen. And it's one of those situations of if Arch is out for the rest of the season, knock on wood, or whatever else, KJ Lacey may get more reps. It may not be Caldwell, but for as of right now, it looks like it's Caldwell number 2, Lacey number 3, Owens number 4.
Yeah, so I'll paint you guys a little bit of a picture on how I perceive this thing. And I could be totally wrong because I'm not Steve Sarkisian. But I think if in the event of an Arch injury, there's 3 levels of what that injury could be. It could be he's out for a couple of plays or a quarter, he's out for a couple of games, or he's out for the season. Somewhere in that realm of possibility. So in the first possibility, I think Matthew Caldwell is in the game. He's going to carry you the rest of the way, try and put you in a position to win the game, manage it, whatever. If you're out for a couple games, I still think it's Matthew Caldwell who comes in, tries to get you through those 2 games, and then you move on. I think if, God forbid, knock on wood, all the things, Arch has some kind of season-ending injury, I think KJ Lacey is the guy that you eventually turn to. That's just my opinion.
No, I'm with you. And yeah, CB, you're dead on that one. Every year Texas needs him. We're hoping the Arch again, if he is one magic quality, it's to stay healthy. That's what we're gonna hope for because the other magic qualities don't really see there. And
Mannings are very good at staying healthy.
And shout out here the dog. Players got to play football. You got to play football. I get that you're like Trey Wisner and DeAndre Moore know what they're doing. Like they don't know with Arch. They don't. I mean, they played 1 game now with him. So I'd like to see those guys if they're healthy enough to play. We know that Sark has also been over the years maybe less than fully forthcoming with all of his injuries and the severity of them. If a guy's going to play, so DeAndre Moore could be ready to play, but still injured. And so he doesn't want to, risk more injury against a team like that. That's like the Quinn Ewers thing last year that he was dealing with an injury and they just went, there's nothing we can really do about it. So I'm a little, we'll see with those 2 guys. I think those are the 2 biggest names that we're kind of wondering what's going to happen with them because I think their leadership would be really, really big in this game against Sam Houston to maybe calm the offense down a little bit more when Arch throws an interception incompletion. We'll put that on him. Incompletion or when the offensive line maybe doesn't hold up in a run play and Trey Wisner gets hit 2 yards behind the line of scrimmage. His reaction to that might be better than one of these younger guys who's worried about not getting their playing time. And so now there's all these guys worried about their playing time. And if you have a guy like Trey Wisner, who's like, I've already ran for 1,000 yards. So I can come in here and be more positive about this because I know what I can do. And I know that I have a track record enough that I'm probably still going to be playing football if you guys aren't. So I can have a different viewpoint on these things. And he's also just an extremely positive and exciting guy. So I think that those will all help out for him a little bit. Speaking of the injury report, Matt, before we take our first break, have you seen the little bit of maybe a little bit of shade that Drinkowitz threw at Lane Kiffin, I believe today or yesterday?
I did not.
He was asked about, and I think it's in this clip, but he's asked about the injury report and how the players in it and what his thoughts are on the injury report. Basically, is it a real thing or not? Here's Eli Drinkowitz.
Along those lines, Eli, I think last year was the first year of the injury report or the availability reports.
What is it? An availability report or an injury report based on last week? Yeah.
What I'm asking is that working, and are those a thing you guys pay attention to during the weeks?
I'm not going to step into Lane's business here, so I'm not going in there.
Not specifically him, just in general.
So there's Eli Drinkowitz taking maybe a little bit. He's like, I'm not going to make it, but by saying his name, you are making it about him. This is a reference to the fact that Austin Simmons was taken off of the availability report or the injury report, whatever it is, on Thursday and Friday of last week. And then he played 2 snaps.
Yeah.
So the thought was, well, if you're telling us your starting quarterback is not injured, then why is he not playing? Which Lane Kiffin could say he just got benched. It wasn't an injury thing. Lane Kiffin has full right to do this. He did play in the game. Austin Simmons did play 2 snaps in the game. He ran the ball once and he threw for a touchdown. So Austin Simmons was in the game, but he did not get he was not starting. And so there was some brouhaha from people basically being like, if we have this report so that we can be somewhat prepared for what's happening. And I think this is less on the coaches and more on gamblers usually, but the coaches themselves are like, well, you're making me fill it out. And if the other team's going to lie, then I'm going to lie. And once again, you get into that world of justifiable cheating, in which case everybody's going to cheat because the other guys are cheating.
Look, I'm not the biggest Lane Kiffin, apologist in the entire world. I like Lane Kiffin a lot. I think he's really good. I think he's doing a great job at Ole Miss, which can be a really hard place to be successful. I think a lot of people are reading too much into this in terms of giving him crap for it. Austin Simmons sprained his ankle against Kentucky. It's very possible that he went through practice and they were like, okay, in an emergency, which is exactly what happened against Arkansas, we can put him in the game. So we're going to take him off the injury report because he's not out. He's going to play if we need him to play.
Yeah.
And it's as simple as that. Which is exactly what he did. Whereas, I think Eli Drinkwitz he's trying to be Mike Leach, I think is what he's doing, where he's just trying to be this like funny, quippy guy. The problem is he doesn't have that. You're not Mike Leach. Stop trying to be Mike Leach. You're never going to be able to pull off talking about the mythical power of a Sun Devil. Or like, have you seen that clip of
yes,
so many clips of Mike Leach? He's trying to be that guy. And by lumping in Lane and trying to throw shade at Lane, and they're probably friends and they probably got a joke out of it, but it's just, he was the emergency QB. So why would you have your emergency QB listed as out on the injury report if he has an opportunity to go into the game if something happens? You know what I mean? It's just like, he's trying to.
I'm aware of it. I thought it was an interesting poll because it is something that is actually annoying that is in the reports of that, everyone's trying to get the gamesmanship. And so the availability reports are pretty much not really that useful because the main thing is you'll be like, okay, we know these guys are out. But anyone who's not listed as out is basically, they can play. So you can know who's not playing, but you will never know who is. And so that's
true. But also he announced Trinidad Chambliss as the starter on Thursday.
No, I get so Lenoris Sellers could clear concussion protocol before Saturday's game for South Carolina. However, they've already said if he doesn't practice at least a couple days, he's not going to play. So in that situation, I think that there's justifiable reasons to do it. It's just an interesting piece that I saw coming out because once again, it is the SEC trying to do something and then every coach in it being like, well, if everyone we're all trying to win, this is a very high pressure job. So how about this? None of us are going to really do it correctly. But you'll know if someone's out. That's basically as good as you will get. None of us are going to fully tell you though, because we don't want the other team to know.
Yeah, I mean, the questionable designation is precisely that. We don't know if he's going to play or not. Yeah. That's just use questionable. Every single player on the roster should be listed as questionable. and that's how you should read the system.
There was conversations that we thought Lane Kiffin would list everybody on it. Because Bill Belichick's done that stuff before too. Bill Belichick has been notorious for listing 30 players, 40 players on his injury report. And just to mess with other teams. Just to be like, oh, you want to know? Now you don't know which ones are real and which ones are not real.
Yeah, I mean, look, Lane Kiffin has always been a guy who tries to find the loopholes in the rules.
Yeah.
Last year, the fake injury stuff, he was the main driver of the reason that fake injury thing became a new rule. But in this situation, I think it's just... I think most people are overthinking it.
I do too. All right. I'm with you. I'm with you on that. We'll have another question for the group here in a little bit because I noticed something when we come back. I noticed something today that is really starting to get blown up. And it was kind of ramped up yesterday, and then today is gone full force, I think. That one network thinks Tom Brady may be the worst thing that's ever happened to the NFL. One network. We'll get into that in a minute. Also, we have our NFL power rankings coming up, probably about 5:10, 5:15. We'll get to our NFL power rankings. Then we'll get to the Jerry Jones Hour. Don't worry about it. The Jerry Jones Hour may start where an hour is not left in the show, but it will still, in theory, be an hour. Because, like Jerry Jones, I will lie to your face straight-faced, just like Jerry. That's how we do it on the Jerry Jones Hour. All right. We'll take a quick break. We'll come back, get into a little bit more football conversation and whatever you guys want to talk about. You know we love to talk to you in the chat as well, right here on Open Gym on Texas Sports Unfiltered.
At Sleep Cycle Center, we can treat your sleep apnea in various ways. My story starts 15 years ago with the loss of my father to undiagnosed untreated sleep apnea. And this is a very preventable disease, and treatment options are various. Millions of people across America have sleep apnea, and they fail to realize the early warning signs. Fatigue, daytime sleepiness, and snoring are the most common signs. We'll find the best solution using advanced technology, oral and epigenetic appliances, or CPAP. We offer weight loss, oral surgery, and laser treatments. Schedule your appointment today and get your sleep evaluation.
If you're looking to remodel a kitchen, renovate your bathroom, or maybe add some new life to your outdoor space, reach out to our friends at McCall Custom Homes. They are custom home builders and renovators here in Central Texas, and they've been doing it in Central Texas for more than 40 years. It's a father-son team with a ton of experience, and all of that experience is here in the Austin area. So they know what it takes to turn an Austin area home into something truly, truly special. Right now, our friends at McCall Custom Homes are offering free estimates to TSU listeners so they can come out to your place, hear your vision, they can tell you what they can do, and then you can go from there. Don't just take my word for it. Check out their website, McCallCustomHomesATX.com. Look at the gallery of jobs they've done over the last 4 decades. And then when you're ready, again, reach out to them and they will come to you. McCallCustomHomesATX.com, or you can call or text Mike McCall directly at 512-633-9580. It's McCall Custom Homes. We build value into your home.
Field goal, end zone, interception.
What's up, kid?
Just trying to write a new commercial for audiovisual consultations. You know, football season is about to start.
Okay, so what have you got so far?
Roses are red, violets are blue. Football is awesome. Our installations are too.
Yeah, I don't think you're getting what I want.
Okay, how about my football lies over the ocean? My
boy.
Yeah, I guess I just don't really understand this sport. Like, think about hockey, a sport played by real men. Fights, no TV timeouts, and no flopping.
Yeah, that's why Audiovisual installs systems so that every customer feels like they're right there on the field.
People's love for football might be hard to understand, but ABC can tackle any residential or home improvement to get you ready for the big game.
Now you're getting it.
Ready for the halftime show?
What?
Hug your kids, laugh with strangers, and make love to whoever the hell you want.
Just call us at 255-8678. That's 512-255-8678.
Back on Open Gym here on Texas Sports Unfiltered, rolling into hour 2 on a Wednesday afternoon. Myself, Patrick Davis, alongside Matt Galatzan of Texas Longhorns on SI, and of course you, the third member of Open Gym. 512-222-9328 is the text line, and the chat is open. Facebook, Twitch, X, and on YouTube. That is what you can go out there and work with. And yes, Chan, we're updating as we keep going, trying to make sure everybody knows our commercial breaks are not very long. We try and throw in a little bit of love to all the sponsors who keep us going here on Texas Sports Unfiltered, but trying to let you guys know we'll be right back. Trust me, we're never going that far away. So we're working on what we're doing here, trying to always be better for you here on Texas Sports Unfiltered. And I wanted to talk to you about, different networks here, Matt, because I noticed today as I was kind of seeing a lot of coverage about Tom Brady. And the hoopla of Tom Brady is the announcer for Fox. He is also a minority owner of the Raiders. The Raiders want Tom Brady to be involved in their football operations to an extent to help them out because he is a great football mind who will not stop working and being everything he wants to be. The problem is that he is meeting with these teams. He is not supposed to be in pre-production meetings, but he is talking to some of the coaches and players and having things like that. So there's some things he's not supposed to be doing, but other pieces he is. And then he is being seen with the Raiders in the Raiders coach's box. So now working in part of the game plan, working in giving advice and tips to these Raiders. And everyone knows, as Joe says, learn to cheat from the best. Tom Brady doesn't have a perfect record on scandals. I think the Deflategate was kind of silly because if I was Tom Brady, you weren't going to get my phone either. I do not trust the NFL. Look at John Gruden, for example. I do not trust the NFL to not ruin me or have a picture of my supermodel wife that was maybe meant for just me that all of a sudden gets leaked out because somebody gets into my phone or they're trying to go through my text or whatever else. So I get all of that. But then I noticed today that almost all of the really negative comments, because a lot of people are like, this isn't a good look. Like Hair the Dog says, not a good look. But like, hey, maybe we need to step back on this. Tom, understand what's up. Raiders understand what's up. This is not a good look. So maybe step back on it, which is probably the right take on this. We know you're doing something fishy. We know you're trying to, you're Tom Brady. You're going to use whatever you can for an advantage. And the fact that you get to scout these games pretty effectively, you're going to use that to give to the team you have partial ownership of. So, but if you have noticed, Tom Brady does not work for ESPN. And ESPN has gone on a full-fledged attack that Tom Brady should no longer be allowed to work for their competitor. They don't want him to give up minority ownership. But if you saw that today, man, ESPN today, basically on every single show, said that the NFL should step in right away and not allow Tom Brady to announce another game. And he went, guys, maybe, just going to say this, don't look so obvious with what you're doing. That every single show on one network is going to say the other network cannot have him work for them. Now, if Tom Brady worked for ESPN, probably not a big problem. He's just doing Sunday night football. He's just doing Monday nights. Who cares? So it is an interesting piece because I saw it and you get it and then you're like, should I be more mad about this? And then I realized why the aggression was being put out so heavily today. It was because it's a competitor. And CBS will probably come out on Sunday and say how bad it is as well, as they're also a competitor with Fox on NFL coverage. But interesting thing to see today, Matt, that ESPN really just trying to go for the softball on this one.
I mean, leave it to ESPN to sensationalize something way out of control in the sports world. I don't think Tom Brady is doing anything wrong at all. And it's, if these coaches are willing to talk to him and give him information about the teams that he's covering, that's on them. First of all, I don't think that Tom Brady is finding anything out in a 5-minute conversation with, Sean Payton that Pete Carroll and his scouting staff and his coordinators haven't already figured out 2 weeks ago. Let alone Tom Brady is just asking questions. And if it's really that sensitive of information that it's going to affect the nature of the game and the outcome of the game when they play the Raiders, then the Broncos or the Chiefs or the Chargers or anybody else that they play is not going to give them that information in the first place. So this is just ESPN, mongering over a guy that I bet you if Fox fired him, they'd hire him tomorrow.
In a heartbeat.
In an absolute heartbeat. And let's be honest, if Tom Brady gets fired from Fox, it's not going to be because ESPN is bitching about it. It's because he's one of the worst play-by-play announcers on Fox.
Yeah, he is not a good color guy. Nobody likes him.
Outside of Troy Aikman, there are no good play-by-play guys as far as I know. Greg Olson is awful. He never shuts up. Tom Brady is awful. So they need to work on their announcer game. That's a separate issue. But Tom Brady's not doing anything wrong. It's like, it's not like he's going to an opposing team's stadium and hiding in the top row and filming their practice.
Who knows? Maybe he is.
I seriously doubt it. He's maybe going to go on dates with like Sydney Sweeney.
Maybe he's given his other guys for Fox that are going to practice. He's like, hey, can you wear these glasses? These giant glasses? Handing them one of those like the old school hidden capture bags that are like these giant bags with a hole cut out and you can clearly see a camera lens in it. Can we get one of those for him to give around and be like, hey, can you carry this out to practice when you're going to watch it? But I just
saw a little bit of interesting news we don't have to stay on because I know we're going to our power rankings here
what you got?
At 5:15. But the DC City Council in an 11-2 vote gives second and final approval for a $3.88 I assume $1 million project or billion, I don't know, including 65,000 seat stadium on the old RFK Stadium site in 2030. Basically, it means the Washington Commanders are going to be playing football in Washington D.C. starting in 2030.
There you go.
Instead of 45 minutes outside in Landover, which was a terrible hike to make. I did it one time and it was awful.
Well, I mean, they're just trying to get rid of that Dan Snyder era completely. Get rid of it. Wipe your hands clean. Nobody was a fan of it. Nobody's a fan of Dan Snyder, including the rest of the owners in the NFL. None of them are big fans. So, interesting knowledge there. News there as we keep going and get a better stadium for people to go see football. That's a good thing. And hopefully they won't completely screw over the city because we see that too often with these owners and they find a way to really screw them over. But I think we've seen more and more positive ways of getting it done recently, that they're, working together and finding a way. So the city does fund some of it, but that's not as bad as a city paying for like 75% of a pace that they own nothing of. Oh, always. It's like such a bad deal. And they keep doing it. Let's get into our NFL power rankings, Matt. We are now through another week of the season, and maybe some people moving up and moving down in our power rankings. Cowboys win, Texans lose again. So is there a possibility that some of these teams, maybe some of our teams may be moving around a little bit more? Let's look at the beginning and a Bills team. That is our tier one: Bills, Eagles, Packers, and Ravens. When we look at the Bills and how their schedule lines up for the rest of the season, they get a 30-10 win over the Jets, who are just not very good right now. The Bills going the rest of the way through this season, Matt. Their next game, they're playing the Dolphins this week, who have been god-awful. Then they go to New Orleans, or they're at home against New Orleans. They're at home against New England. They go to Atlanta. They go to Carolina. Then they got to play the Chiefs. You got to play the Chiefs there. Then they're at Miami. Then they got to play Tampa Bay. They're at Houston, at Pittsburgh, Cincinnati. Is this in 3 months? So maybe you get a Joe Burrow back in December, possibly. At that point, then New England, the Browns, the Eagles, and the Jets again. I mean, that is a lot of easy wins for this Buffalo team as the season goes on.
They might go 16-1.
They might. Like, they are really good. They look good still. Josh Allen is out there. You hurt his nose and made a great joke about it. His joke was that he broke his nose, so it's all been up and big, and he says he's now the third Bosa brother coming in because Joey Bosa's on the team this year. But it seems like Buffalo is still our number one in the power rankings because that team I don't think is. I mean, they may not lose.
Yeah, they're probably going to go 16-1 if the Chiefs can beat them. If anybody on that schedule beats them, maybe the Eagles.
The Eagles,
which I don't know. I think the Bills are going to be number one on our power rankings for the entire season. And I'm also a huge Josh Allen stan now because he told my favorite joke of all time or of recent history recently. He said, or somebody asked him if he drank. And he goes, I didn't drink for 11 years. And then I turned 12. So ever since then, Josh Allen's been my favorite quarterback.
There you go. Josh Allen is a pretty charismatic guy, and lands some of those jokes. He does seem like a guy that'd be pretty fun to hang out with at the bar, and he's doing just fine playing football as well.
He also has the best golf drinking game of all time, by the way.
Which is?
It's called I don't remember exactly what it's called, but basically the premise is you always have to hold your drink in your left hand. If you pick it up in your right hand and somebody says buffalo, you have to finish your drink.
Oof. Oh.
So you have to play your entire golf round with not touching your drink with your right hand. It's incredible.
That's one of those games like I'd be the guy who's just drinking and then never catching anybody else. It's really oblivious in those games. All right, so now we get into the question. The Eagles get a win over the Chiefs. So the Eagles get a big win, a 20-17 win. They haven't looked dominant yet, but they're still winning games, right? And they're winning against decent teams. The Cowboys are a decent team. The Chiefs should be a good team. I don't know if they're as good as they have been. They're definitely decimated by injuries on the offense. So they're still there, but that Packers team, like, it does feel like you could move them up to number 2 right now, and it wouldn't be an overreaction.
I've been singing the Packers' praises all offseason.
I thought it was going to take them a little while to get going, and it did not whatsoever.
Tucker Kraft has been an absolute beast for them at tight end, which has allowed the receivers to kind of come along. Jordan Love's been awesome, but man, that defense has been solid. So yeah, I mean, I'm fine putting them at number 2. I think if they played the Eagles, one-on-one at a neutral site, they would beat them. So I'm taking the Packers.
Yeah, they've just looked better so far this year. So the Eagles not doing anything wrong. I'm not going to knock them down any further. Ravens still stay in that tier 1, having zero problems with the Browns. It's the Browns. You don't get points for things you're supposed to do, though. Said, what's an old Chris Rock? What do you want? A cookie? That is the Ravens winning 41-17 over the Browns. So that is our tier 1. I don't think anybody else jumps into that tier 2 either. The Rams are probably the closest, but a win over the Titans, I'm not really going to put them in there yet. But so I think that tier 1 is still set with those. We know the Chiefs at 0-2 are definitely not going back up into tier 1. So I'm not necessarily going to put them up there yet. But so that put us into tier 2. And it does feel like the Chiefs maybe moved down. The Commanders aren't there. Rams have got to take the lead in this tier 2, Matt. Are you on that?
Yeah, I mean, I think you can put the Rams on top there. I still don't feel great about this Rams team necessarily.
Yeah.
But, a lot of that is I'm still weary of Matthew Stafford's health, even though he's playing really, really well. But yeah, they're the number 1 team in tier 2 for sure.
Do you think any of these teams drop down out of tier 2? Have the Commanders or the Chiefs, both lose over the weekend? Chiefs go 2-0-2 for the first time since Patrick Mahomes has been there as a starting quarterback. Do either one of them drop out of tier 2 and we may move up a Chargers team that got another win, or a Lions team that looked amazing in week 2 and just ran up the score? I think those are the teams. I mean, the Buccaneers looked okay, but I think they're still in that tier 3. They maybe just move up a little bit. Anybody else move up into tier 2 for you, Matt?
I think you can move the Chargers up. I'm not necessarily sure I'm prepared to move the Chiefs down, but I think you can move the Chargers into that conversation.
Yeah, I think they played really well. So they're not even going to move up a spot. They're still at 8, but they are now in tier 2 at 8. We've now shifted them tiers. So they're going to get a little benefit of it, jumping up into tier 2, which then puts us good.
Where are the Chiefs in that?
Chiefs are still 6 in this.
And who's 7?
Commanders.
I'd put the Chargers at 6.
Okay.
Because Jaden Daniels is hurt right now, for one thing.
Don't say that. Got him in both fantasy leagues, man. Don't say that.
And if you lose 2 games, you deserve to drop at least a spot. So,
no, I'm with you on that. I don't mind that. I think they have to, they're going to move right back up at some point this season. I'm good with that. The Lions are the one I want to see it happen against a team that's not the Bears. If they do this again, they're going to move right back up on this power rankings. But I'm fine with them still being at number 9 because you beat up a defenseless Bears. And I also don't like the fact you ramped the score on your former coach and you're acting like Ben Johnson had nothing to do with it. So frustrating. That one to me, I'm like, come on, guys. Like, I get it. Ben Johnson's not everything. But to just be like an ass to him because he left to, like, not everyone's going to stick around. Yeah. If Amon-Ra St. Brown didn't get paid enough, he was going to leave too. But he's going to act like he's a Detroit guy for life because he got the money. I didn't like that the way that went down, but that's just me. Wasn't my cup of tea to be like, let's disparage this guy that helped bring us the best offense and help lead our best offense. Now, if they can continue on, then maybe they'll just be like, it wasn't even Ben Johnson. He had nothing to do with it. I think it'll slow down at a certain point. I don't know if it's going to be able to operate on this level for the amount of weeks that they're going to have to play.
Well, I sure hope it does because I just picked up Jared Goff to replace Joe Burrow as my starting quarterback in fantasy. So let's hope they score 42 points a game and he throws touchdown passes a game.
Only if it's all to Gibbs. But we'll go
Which
down.
I also have, by the way.
All right, tier 3 then, Matt. We have the Lions, Broncos, and Bucks in tier 3. This is a team. The Lions stay clearly at number 9. The Broncos, maybe, though, didn't have their best game. They lose to the Colts. Yeah. So do you get punished for losing to a team that we thought was going to be one of the worst teams?
Well, yes, and also because I thought this Broncos defense was going to be the best defense in the NFL, and they gave up 29 points to Daniel Jones.
Yes.
So, yeah, I think that you can drop them out.
So we'll go tier 3. We'll go with the Bucks. They pick up a win over a team that we believe will probably be in the playoffs. They go up to 10. Do you have anybody from tier 4 jumping up to tier 3? Or do we knock the Broncos down to 11 and say they'll probably start to figure it out somewhere in this season, but having a little struggles early? Tier 4, we have the Bengals who lose Joe Burrow, Vikings who lose J.J. McCarthy, 49ers who don't have Brock Purdy, the Texans who, if they don't keep protecting C.J. Stroud, won't have him much longer, and they're 0-2. And then you get the Dallas Cowboys who are 1-1, had to do a lot of heroics to win that one in week 2. So that really good game against the Eagles maybe loses a little luster against a Giants team that you should have beat by double digits.
Yeah, you let a washed Russell Wilson throw for 450 on you. I'm not moving you up in the power rankings. Yeah, I don't think that there's anybody really that you can move. Like, hear me out, Patrick. And I totally understand if you don't want to do this.
Yes.
But the Colts are undefeated.
It's hard for me to not start moving them up.
Like, I think you at least move them to tier 4.
Yeah, they're in tier 6 right now at 26.
Yeah, I think you have to drop
them up.
I think you have to drop the Texans out of tier 3.
Okay.
And make them the first team in tier 4. But I wouldn't move anybody up into tier 4.
So they're in tier 4. Tier 3 is the Lions, Bucks, and Broncos.
Sorry, you drop them from tier 4 to tier 5 is what I meant.
So we'll drop them down. Does that mean we just want to replace them with the Colts at 15? Or do the Cowboys go up to 15 and 16 we'll put the Colts?
I'm good with that, yeah.
All right, so we'll put that one in there. The Cowboys move up to 15 there. And another monstrous jump for the Colts, who maybe we didn't move up enough last week. Maybe that was the issue. We didn't move them up enough last week. So they're all the way.
Maybe I should have picked up Daniel Jones instead of Jared Goff. Jeez.
I picked him up in both leagues with Jaden Daniels, questionable. We're going to see. Hey, if he just keeps moving the ball, that's all I need, man. Just something from you. Then we're starting to get into tier 5. Now, where do we start to move the Texans down to? This is a Steelers team that is 1-1, loses to the Seahawks. The Seahawks are 1-1, beat the Steelers. At 20, you get the Cardinals. They get a close win over the Panthers. The Bears are 0-2, not having the start they want to have, get crushed. The Falcons get a big win over the Vikings to go 1-1, but this is a Vikings team whose offense just not good. And then J.J. McCarthy gets hurt.
And the offense was bad with J.J. McCarthy?
It was.
And
man.
it wasn't just the Bears that made them look good.
No, it was the Bears that made him look good. Which by another reason why I'm not fully bought in on this Lions team, because JJ McCarthy looked good against this Bears team. And then we also have the Jets, who now Justin Fields, I believe, has already been ruled out. They got trounced by the Bills. Wasn't that much of a chance, but Justin Fields played awful. He has now been ruled out for this week as well. So where do we want to go and put the Texans in here? I guess we can move the Seahawks up to 17 because they beat the Steelers.
Yeah, I'm good with that.
So just switch those two spots because no one else really did enough to get anything going. We said the Jaguars also are in this. They lost to the Bengals 31-27 with Joe Burrow going down in that game. So a lot of teams that lost games they probably should have had a shot to win. But, you can say easily enough that if you beat a team, I'm going to move you up over them. And the Seahawks getting the win over the Steelers will make them move up to 17. Now, where do you put the Texans? Are the Texans above the Steelers, the Jags, the Cardinals? I mean, these teams have wins, but
I don't think you can put them above any of those teams.
I mean, I don't know if they're terrible, so we're going to put them above the Bears and move the Falcons up, maybe.
Yeah, that's fine. I'm good with that. It's just really hard for me to put them above any team that's had an impressive win.
So we'll put them down at 22. They're going to go. Is that where the Texans are going to go? That is behind. I mean, I can't. The Cardinals are 0-2 also, right? No, they're 2-0. They just beat two off. They beat the Saints and the Panthers.
Yeah, can't give them too much credit for that.
So we're going to go ahead and move the Falcons up to 20. We'll do that one. Move the Falcons all the way up here to 20. That will give us the Texans at 21, which I can live with that. I don't think they're terrible. They're right there in these games and just not getting it done. They're going to break through. I'm telling you this team's going to break through. I still have faith in my Texans. They're going to break through. I don't have tons of faith in their offensive play calling, but I have faith they're going to win some games here in a little bit. So that goes 21 is the Texans. 22 is your Cardinals, a 2-0 Cardinals team that I'm giving zero credit to because they should have won both of these games. They won both of them by combined less than 10 points against the Saints and Cardinals.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's no way. Negative points for you, Cardinals. You're supposed to win these games.
Won those games by double digits.
Yes, and then 23 is the Bears.
Bears.
Following us with 24 is the Jets. They're rounding out tier 5. Getting
just a
in
sidebar real quick.
Yeah.
Is the Saturday Night Live Bears skit the best Saturday Night Live bit of all time?
No, it's not.
It's my favorite.
It's a great one. It is a great one, but there is some spectacular stuff. Now, recurring bits, it jumps more into that conversation, but there's some really great stuff.
That's what I mean, the recurring bits.
Yeah. There's some really good stuff. I'd have to go through, but there's some that are A++. The Bears is great, but some of the Bears ones weren't as good. Like the Michael Jordan one's an all-time classic.
Mm-hmm.
Chris Farley having the heart attacks, but some of them maybe they stretched it a little bit too far. I don't know if the Macaulay Culkin one was as good when they did the play and it was all about the Bears. There's great lines in it. I'll give you that. But I'm a SNL fan, or at least was for a long time. I don't hate on it now. I am not one of the people who goes out. Like I've realized this because I don't want to be the old man in the room who's like, everything now is terrible. I'm like, it's not for me anymore. It hasn't been for me in 20 years. So I'm like, that's fine. Like I really liked it when it was meant for people my age. And now that it's not, I'm just going to move on with my life. And so every once in a while, someone will send me something like the Shane Gillis can of beer, whatever that sketch.
Oh yeah.
It's just,
couple of beers.
Couple beers. Yeah. Couple beers. That one's an all-time great. That one. And Roy, yeah, the delicious dish, I think maybe that's what that sketch is. The recurring sketches or something like that with Pete Schweddy, all-time classic as well. All right. Now we're going to go in here. We'll delete them out of that one. Do we have any of these teams that are being demoted to tier 6 now? Do we demote the Bears and Jets?
Yes. They're both awful.
Both of those teams don't look very good. I will leave the Cardinals up there because they are 2-0. I can't move them down a tier as much as I'm still mad at them for what they do. But I do think maybe it is worth it for us to just say we're going to move them down a tier, keep them in their spots. No one in this next tier, I don't believe, moves up either, because now we are talking about at 25 is the Raiders. The 26 is the Patriots, who the Patriots did look okay. The Patriots got a win over the Dolphins, but that's not saying much again. So the Patriots are 1-1. They got a 33-27 win over a team that we have ranked at 31. The Titans at 27, the Panthers at 28, and the Giants at 29. Do you see anything you want to change in there?
Maybe. Where were the Patriots?
Patriots are 26.
26. No, I think that's about right. The Giants should get a little bit of credit for almost beating the Cowboys. So I don't think you necessarily should move them down.
No, they're still at 29. They're not moving down anywhere. Technically, I think they moved down a spot because of, but yeah not really. And then tier 7, Browns, Dolphins, and Saints all get losses again this week. Do you move the Dolphins? It feels like maybe the Saints aren't the worst team, and it is the Dolphins, but they have way more talent on this Dolphins team. The Browns are also going to be really bad. If you want to watch a really funny clip, I didn't pull it for Meathead, but Joe Flacco trying to chase down a DB who he threw a pick to. Just watching Joe Flacco run and then jump to try and tackle a guy who's just clearly blowing past him is really good stuff. But I don't know about tier 7. I don't know if we touch tier 7. I think we just kind of keep that one too there, Matt. What do you think?
Yeah, I'd be fine putting the Dolphins last because they lost to a worse team. But the Saints are still the worst team in football.
They are until they prove that they're not. If they get a win before one of these other teams, then we'll finally get it into it. But all right, there's our new power rankings. We'll put those out soon. I got my graphic made up for that, so we can put those out for you every week out on the social medias. But we will. There is a Heisman or an NFL power ranking for you. Let's get into the Jerry Jones Hour. It's 5:38, which means we have 22 minutes devoted to the Jerry Jones Hour because Jerry Jones would tell you 20.
Now?
Yeah, no, it's whatever time I have. We're just gonna lie and say it's an hour every time. Jerry
Appreciate
Jones,
Hair the dog for giving us the idea for this segment every day for the last 6 months.
The Jerry Jones Hour, talking a little Cowboys. The Cowboys officially bring in Jadeveon Clowney to try and shore up this defense. I wanted to ask you though, Matt, if you're a Cowboys fan right now, you're 1-1, you still don't feel, and I know you're not a Cowboys fan, that's why I'm asking the question this way. That you're 1-1, you know, the offense does look like it's got something going. And, maybe feel okay about some of the pieces about what you're doing on the offense. But the defense is just, the secondary is bad. Your secondary's gotten to getting any help because you got rid of your pass rush. You let Lawrence go, and then you don't re-sign, and then you trade Micah Parsons. So you're just done with a pass rush right now, trying to get some younger guys in there. So you bring in Clowney, but Clowney's also not a double-digit sacks a year guy. Never really has been. So if you're the Cowboys, are you thinking still, well, we've got all these picks and all this stuff now in this cap room, we can go make a trade like Jerry said. He said it, not me, that maybe we can go get something else. What are you looking at? You have Trayvon Diggs on this roster. You have Deron Bland. You have Kyer Elam. You're going to get Ravel. You drafted at some point this season, you believe, even though he's probably not going to be ready. You drafted Kalen Carson a year ago. So you have a lot of guys in that secondary. You probably don't necessarily want to add to that payroll. The linebacker core hasn't been awful. It's not good enough. You have a defensive line. You feel good about your interior with Odigizua and Clark. Or do you try and bring in a different edge, or do you just say, screw it, we have to bring in another DB? And I know you're on the pro trade Trayvon Diggs. I don't know what you get back for him and the cap hit and all that stuff. I don't know how possible that is. But what are you doing if you're trying to fix this Dallas defense at all? Is there anything you can do at this point, or is it just kind of let's just get through the season?
I think it would be a massive mistake to make a trade with some of that draft capital that you got from the Micah Parsons trade, because you have an opportunity over the next 2 years to draft 4 starters. And you're going to get Deron Bland back. You're going to get Kalen Carson back. You're going to get Ravel back. Linebacker, you're going to get Demo back at some point, hopefully. So yeah, how funny would that be if they traded they traded 3 first-round picks back for Micah Parsons? That's incredibly illegal to do, and they can't do it, but it would be funny. I don't think that there's really anything to do at this point other than wait for your guys to get healthy. It's a situation where they haven't built the defense very well, and they're going to need to heavily invest in it in the draft over the next couple of years. I don't know that there's a guy out there, like maybe Trey Hendrickson is a guy that like you could theoretically like trade a first round pick or something. Like I wouldn't want to do that necessarily.
You're trading that Green Bay pick that you don't want.
Yeah, trade that one away. Maybe the one in 27 or whatever the next year, not this year's, but the next year, like the Green Bay pick from, I guess it would be the 28 draft or 20. What? God, it's so confusing.
It's 2026 and 2027, right?
Yeah, the 2027 draft. So the Packers 2027 first round pick, send that to the Bengals for Trey Hendrickson. Like that's something that I would be interested in. I don't necessarily want to do that. I would hope you could trade a second round pick or something like that. But like the Bengals have no reason to do that right now.
No, I mean they may here in a few weeks. If things get out of control and they just start tanking and they know they're losing him at the end of the season, that's the other deal. He doesn't have more years left on his contract. Mm-hmm. So you're going to have to reach a new deal with him anyway, which is why you could probably get him for less than a first at this point, because they did have the new deal. And so you could probably get him for less than that, especially if you're already kind of in the season. I just don't think that they're going to go get an edge because it proves that you need an edge. And so I don't know if you make that move. I really do think, and I kind of set you up weird, but like, is there a world where you can trade a Trayvon Diggs somewhere in there? And again, I don't know what the cap hit would be on that with his contract, and then try. I mean, like the reality is you got to fix the secondary. You got to fix the pass rush. And I'm sure Jerry Jones is sitting around thinking, well, when Overshawn comes back, that's 14 more sacks. And then when Bland's healthy, that's like 16 more interceptions. So we'll be good to go.
Yeah. I'm not sure how the cap hit things work. I'm not an NFL cap expert. I could probably find this information out, but the guaranteed salary makes it pretty tough for the Cowboys to trade him right now without taking a cap hit. I know that much.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, I think you just kind of have to stick with him. I think that you could get away with trading for Trey Hendrickson at a certain point. The Bengals are 2-0 right now, but they're not going to have Joe Burrow till right before Christmas, probably, if that.
Yeah.
So if things go off the rails and they're, they only have like 3 or 4 wins at that point, maybe they punt on the season and they try and get some draft capital for Trey Hendrickson. At that point, you're kind of admitting defeat at a certain point if you trade for Trey Hendrickson. But if you're in a position to make a playoff push and you want to add somebody, then that would be a primary candidate, because the Bengals, if they can get something back for him before he walks away, I think they would absolutely take it. I don't think they would take necessarily something like a 3rd or a 4th round pick, but like if the Cowboys were like, hey, we'll give you a 1st round pick in 2027 for Trey Hendrickson for the next 8 games, I think they'd probably do it. The only problem I have with seeing that happen is that Jerry Jones would be admitting that he was wrong.
Yeah, that's why
And I don't think he's ever going to do that.
No, I don't either.
So they very well could draft a pass rusher with their first pick in the next draft.
Oh, you have to. At this point, you have to. Like that, I don't feel like there's much of an option on that one anymore. I think you do have to go for that. So that question, I do have another question just because I haven't seen enough about this and I keep trying to research it and don't really see much about it. What's the deal with Jaden Blue right now?
I'm not really sure. I don't think he's injured. I just don't think that they're comfortable with him right now being, a big part of the offense. And I think Schottenheimer said something that he has to be more consistent.
Yeah, I heard that.
That's so vague. It's like, well, what is he not being consistent about? Is it his responsibilities in pass protection? Is it holding on to the football? Is it his work ethic? Is it his, is it catching the football? Is it hitting the right holes at the right time? Like reading, like your vision, like what is it that he's not being consistent about? And they haven't really expanded on that to my knowledge.
Yeah, I mean, if he's not good in pass pro against this Dallas defense in scrimmage, come on, man, you're gonna get eaten alive out there.
It's like somebody has to be a better option for your secondary running back than Miles Sanders.
I mean, your third running back. Hell, put him like that's what they're using that roster spot, and it's like at a certain point, and like if it's fumbles too, you're like, well, Miles Sanders already has a fumble on the season that could have cost you a game.
Yeah,
I know maybe he's got a more track record, but
maybe he's like still injured from that preseason thing that he had or aggravated it or something. I don't know. I need to find out because it is puzzling to me.
Yeah, because he has not been on the injury report, but he has been a scratch the first 2 weeks of the season, a healthy scratch recording. So I mean, it's an interesting poll. That one is one I've been watching because it is like, you're like, did you whiff on this one? Because that's a big piece as well. If you're like, the whole concept of this draft for Jerry Jones was you need to get a running back, and he waited, but then he gets Jaden Blue, and everybody goes, okay, he got Jaden Blue ahead of where he should. Like he got a steal on Jaden Blue is the thought process after the draft. Not that he missed on Judkins, not that he missed on Travion Henderson or missed on one of those guys, but he got his steal in Jaden Blue. That was kind of the spin coming out of the draft. But if Jaden Blue can't make the field, then that's no longer a steal. That is now another blown pick that you don't feel comfortable playing, whether it's your system or whatever else it is. And like, I think Jaden Blue will get there because I have faith that he was playing at a high enough level last year that we watched him play that he should be able to get on the field at least at some point. But it is somewhat concerning because that was, an emphasis in the draft. And if it's a miss, it's a miss.
Yeah, I mean, if it's a miss, like the one consolation you have in that fact is that it's a 5th round pick, and 5th round picks don't work out a lot of times. But I think it's if Jaden Blue doesn't work out, which I still think he will. I think he's just got to get whatever it is that he in the consistency, whatever the broad term of consistency means. Like if he gets that figured out, I think he can. But if you miss on Jaden Blue, I think it's more of an indictment on Jerry Jones and Stephen Jones than anything else, because you're basically putting your team in a position now by not drafting a running back earlier that would be, let's say, more consistent, whatever that means. You're putting your team in a position now where if Javonte Williams, who's running the ball a lot, and he's doing it well, credit to him, if he's got to miss a couple games, you don't have a running game.
No.
At all.
No, I mean, Javonte Williams is doing great, but yeah, you're right. There's not, I just don't know. It's a weird thing because how are you not playing him? Like, I get your offense is working, so you don't want to throw something into it if it's not there. If it is pass pro, that makes sense. That's probably makes the most sense. Fumbling would be really worrying that he can't hold on the ball in practice. But I think you'd have to figure it's pass pro. And that he's just not picking up what they need for Dak. Either that or he's not. I just don't know. I don't know what it could be. But it's definitely concerning to a point that that's somebody that we all thought going in, like, okay, good pickup. They can use him. He may be someone that gives him some explosive plays. He can work with Dak in receiving as well, which is another piece. Like, well, he's not great in pass protection. At least he can still come in and be a receiver for you, kind of, and come out of the backfield as a receiver. I know you still like to have him in pass pro, but, you can still use him in ways. It's just weird to get the healthy scratch. Him and Mozzie Smith, and they're just glaring errors right now on a team that tries to build pretty much solely through the draft. When you're getting healthy scratches from guys that were picks that were supposed to be good players for you, it's why this team is not going to be a top-level team.
This is a bit of a stretch, but I wonder how much Jaden Blue taking that senior year off of high school, in terms of his development, affected his career going forward. Because he didn't play his senior year because he was just like, I'm holding out for college. I think that was the wrong mindset. I think that maybe that put a weird kink in his plan and his development. How much? I don't know. It's just it was a weird decision, and that was always something that kind of troubled me about him. I'm not saying that like necessarily 100% is having any effect on what he's doing in the NFL right now, but it was just weird. And then like when he was at Texas, he was super explosive, but he also had so many flaws. Like I wonder how his development went. And obviously Texas is really good at developing running backs. I mean, look in the NFL. There's a ton of them right now.
But that goes back to the Cowboys. Like, did you draft him not knowing what he was as a running back?
That's what that's what kind of what I'm saying is like, I don't think the Cowboys really knew what they were getting.
How?
It was almost,
you are an NFL team. You have one job during this draft is to know the players you might draft.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know, but like they drafted a guy ostensibly to be their backup running back. And it seems like they have no idea how they can implement him into their game plan. I don't know. It's just weird. Like it's a weird situation. I'll see if I can find anything out, but it's very bizarre to me, and I don't really know what to make of it.
All right, we're gonna take our second break. We come back. We'll get to our meathead of the day and wrap it up here on a Wednesday afternoon here on Open Gym on Texas Sports Unfiltered.
Hi, I'm Hayden Covert. Welcome to Covert Buick GMC of Bee Cave, your home in the Hill Country for new and pre-owned Buick and GMC vehicles. With beautiful inventory arriving daily, including the GMC Yukon, Sierra 1500, and Buick Enclave, you'll be certain to find the perfect vehicle at an incredible deal. Our service department is also open for all your vehicle maintenance needs. Visit us today for a test drive. Covert, born and raised in Austin. We are professional grade.
Altstadt Beer, the best beer that you can find all throughout the great state of Texas. Y'all know I've been a fan of Altstadt for years now, and if you try it, I think you will be too. If you've already tried it, you know exactly what I am talking about. Altstadt is brewed locally in Fredericksburg, but available all over the state of Texas. So if you're tuned in Austin, San Antonio, Dallas, Houston, it does not matter. You can find Altstadt at a local grocery store or liquor store. They've got a bunch of different brews, something for every beer drinker out there. The Lager, the Kolsch, those are their two flagship beers, both award winners. They are fantastic. The Altstadt Light sacrifices on calories but does not sacrifice on the taste. They've got great pills, tons of great seasonals as well. I'm telling you, one sip and you won't go back to the other beers you've been drinking in the past. It is the official beer of BK. It should be the official beer of you as well. It's Altstadt Beer. No impurities, no regrets.
Hey y'all, I'm Camille McKay.
And I'm Tom McKay, owner of Audiovisual Consultations.
The old man and I are here to give you your summer weather forecast. It's hot.
That's right, kid.
Which means it's time for pool parties, grilling burgers, and taking a beach vacation, right?
Well, I don't know about a vacation, but Audiovisual brings more heat than any tropical destination.
It was worth a shot. I'll settle for some outdoor speakers.
You know, Audiovisual can do a lot more than that. We provide outdoor video screens, audio systems, landscape lighting, even solar shades for your patio radio to keep the Texas heat at bay.
Well, I'm sold. Let's wrap this up. I'm ready to lounge on a floaty and listen to some smooth jazz.
Well, that sounds wonderful, but some smooth reggae is the way to go this summer.
Good thing we can listen to both with the Sonos sound system. I call dibs on the floaty, though. Peace out.
Kid, wait a second. Give us a call at 512-255-8678 or visit us at avconsultations.com. That's 512-255-8678.
Back here on Open Gym on Texas Sports Unfiltered. I just saw something. I'm going to see if I can flip this over for us real quick to try and wrap up the show because it's kismet. I did not expect it to happen. But can you just vamp for the next 8 minutes? By the way, the Jerry Jones hour wrapped up already. Like Jerry Jones, I tell you it's an hour. Just it won't ever be an hour, but we're just going to lie about it over and over again because that's what we do here.
One of these days, we'll talk about the Cowboys for an hour.
I don't know.
I'll make that pledge to you, Hair of the Dog. We'll actually talk about the Cowboys for an hour at some point during this football season. I don't know when it's going to be. I don't know what it's going to be about. We almost did it earlier in the season with Micah Parsons.
We definitely did that. That was like a 2-hour Jerry Jones
like
hour on that
entire
one.
Cowboys show.
All right. I think we might have this. See if I can pull it up. All right. I think we've got it. So earlier we were talking about Arch Manning and his ability to keep time. And I mentioned how in social media, they often do a challenge of connecting and hitting the right time. 3 hours ago, apparently, Texas Instagram put out this challenge. So they are on the same page. I didn't see Arch Manning in my quick cursory, but let's see how the Texas players do in their challenge of having timing correct.
We're going to stop at exactly 7 seconds for the 7 p.m. home game.
Good.
Ready, set, go. Ooh. Ooh. Oh, you're good.
Stop.
That was good. That was close. Damn. Ooh, that's good.
Bro, no.
No.
Bro, but I made a face, and that's why he stopped it. No, that's not why.
There's Texas players doing the stopwatch challenge. No one really great. Offensive lineman, probably your best, maybe going in here. But
all right, I don't want to cause a controversy here or get my credential pulled, but Texas just missed a major opportunity there to have Arch do it.
Hey, Arch may have done it and not been in the video because he was like 2 seconds.
It's possible.
It's possible. But yeah, that was funny. I was like, is Arch going to be in this one? Is Arch going to be in this one? Yeah, he was not in that one. But shout out to the Texas social media team for getting on it right away. Maybe not getting Arch, or at least not showing Arch if he was bad. We know if Arch was good, they would have showed it. So
probably
hats off for not causing more problems. Texas social media team. Here we go. Let's see if we have another one in here. Congratulations to Stephon Diggs. He heard he and Cardi B are pregnant. Ooh. Cardi B's fourth child. They're believing it. And this is Stephon Diggs, sorry, on Family Feud, letting you know why he is a father now.
This phrase, leave it what?
In.
Name something specific. Let some specific people put it. I got outfit mouth. Is this real? Oh my God.
Stephon Diggs answering the question, finish this, leave it in. Congrats to the new father, Stephon Diggs.
Man. And I don't even know what to say, Patrick. I don't want to get myself in trouble. Yeah, that's why you're a father. That's why you're a father. Congratulations, Stefan and Cardi B. I hope you have a beautiful young child. I assume it wasn't on purpose, but hey, kid's a blessing.
Who knows? They both got enough money. They can take care of it, have a good old child, and hopefully raise another, a talented child. Who knows what it'll be talented at, but a talented child.
I just hope that Tyreek Hill isn't going to Stephon Diggs for advice.
He does. He doesn't want to be left in the Dolphins anymore. I can tell you that. He's ready to be out of there. We got to get out of here. Once we come back, we'll be back tomorrow to get more, start to get a little more, maybe play you some more Sark audio for tomorrow as well. As we start to get more and more ready for Sam Houston. But until then, be kind, be safe, keep your underwear clean. We'll see you right back here tomorrow for more from Open Gym.